What's up with it? You tune in to another episode of Everything Boxing. I don't watch reality TV. I watch boxing. There he go talking that boxing again. Yeah, you already know how we do. When you come in the building, let me know you off in the building. State your name. Let me know where you coming from. Hit the comment section. Tap in. And like we always do, I'm gonna give people a chance to let them know I'm in the building. We're gonna get the show started off real soon.
Coming down, holding the slab, sipping on some.
Yeah, what's up with it? Like I said, tap in the comment sections when you get in the building, and we gonna get the show started. We got a whole lot to cook on tonight. We got a whole lot to talk about.
Cup of candy,
What's up with it?
and this shit been brought to you by Young Pimp
Sal Hamilton off in the building. What it do with it? And like I said, we gonna get the show started real soon. Just give me a second. Let me, let some people know I'm in the building. We gonna get it started off. I've been thinking about killing you lately. Cause I stay cold and I make jeans. Trying to on the favorite. And I've been thinking about killing you lately. My head's focused on that chronic that I'm smoking. I'm broke still looking. A bunch of niggas hoping I'm joking. I hit your brand new bitch. Money calls and bitches. No toes and kisses and busting slugs. Thinking about killing you lately. John Anthony was good. He said out of Facebook jail. All right. You know what I'm saying? And they took the cuffs off you and let you out, huh? That's what it is. And like I said, we're gonna get the show started real soon. I'm just giving time for some more people to step up in the building. Oh yeah, what's up with it? Mateo Leon off in the crib. What's up? Yeah, you already know. I don't watch reality TV. I watch boxing. John Reeves off in the building, comes from that 256. Chris Mitchell, what's good with it, family? And share this to all your boxing groups. You know, yeah, go ahead and share this to all your boxing groups. Stephen T. Pope off in the building. What's good with it, fam? And I'm testing out like a new little camera thing, you know. I ain't even using my regular setup, my regular camera, so see how this work out. Mark Shoe off in the building. He says, question before we start. Do you agree with critics who say that Canelo was too green when he beat Mayweather? I'll get into that. That's the first question I'll answer. I'll get into that since you know you put the comment up and before we get the show started. Give me one more second and we're gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get it started off. And like I said, share this to all your boxing groups. Cleo Floyd, what it do? Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. You already know what it is. You know, we gonna cook today. We gonna cook today. See. And like I said, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and get the show started off. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Everything Boxing and Sports. If you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, Everything Boxing and Sports, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. It don't cost you nothing to hit the like button. It don't even take no time. Victor Flores off in the building. What it do? Coming in from Connecticut. So I'm gonna go ahead and answer my man's question that he asked when he came straight off in the building, and then we just gonna go ahead and get into the topics. So the first question is, basically he asked me, do I agree with the critics that say Canelo was too green when he fought Mayweather? Shit. I mean, no, because the reason I don't agree with the critics saying that Canelo was too green, because Canelo had what, 40 something professional fights under his belt already. On top of that, you got to look at it and say, if we're going to say that about Canelo, we got to say that about all these other young guys, that we pushing into big fights. We got to keep the same energy with all of these other young dudes. So, I mean, just to sum it up real quick, no, I don't, because Canelo had a whole lot of fights under his belt professionally. So, I mean, nobody was saying that he was too green when he was fighting any of those other guys before he fought Mayweather. So, I mean, we got to look at it like that. So, moving along, like I said, we got a whole lot to talk about today. Quality Boxing Corners off in the building. What's up with it? John Anthony says, all the way coming all the way from London. What's up with it? Cassandra Mason off in the building. You already know, from the home of Cincinnati, the home of AB. Daddy, hey, brush my hair. Y'all know I beat that boy, and everybody in the building know I beat that boy. Victor Flores says, what you think about Errol Spence Jr. and Danny Garcia? Do you think he should do a tune-up before taking a guy like that on? Absolutely not, but we're going to get into that. All right, so basically, the first thing I want to get into, because I'm going to talk about Errol Spence and Danny Garcia. I'm going to talk about, Bob Arum. He cooked on a lot of stuff. Bob Arum, he talked about a lot, and I want to get into that and everything that's going to happen in boxing. It's some big things that's going to happen in boxing, but it's a lot of changes that's going to be taking place in boxing, coming up. So the first thing I want to get into is, because I didn't really get to cook on this situation myself. Everybody has been going around lying on Deontay Wilder. Saying that he was going to take step-aside money, saying that he was demanding, 20 mil. I heard people, just throwing dirt on his name, saying that, oh, he's asking for too much money. Why is he demanding this and that? Then I heard other people say, he wants to take step-aside because he's afraid to fight Tyson Fury. And, everybody was running rampant with these stories. Eddie Hearn, was coming out saying that that they was working on a fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. It was all type of stories, running around, and everybody was just running with these stories. And I came on here and I told y'all, I said, I ain't going to talk about it too much. I said, because I'm sick of all this fake news. I said, the shit is fake news. Nobody wants to listen to me, though. And they kept running with it, okay? So obviously now, Deontay Wilder's, team has come out, and they said that all of that shit was a lie. That it was never any even thought in his head with about no amount of money that he was going to take to step aside. Deontay Wilder says that he want all of the smoke with Tyson Fury because it's personal with him. It's bigger than boxing with him now. He has a personal vendetta versus Tyson Fury. So he says that it's no amount of money that he will take to step aside. And I was telling y'all that before, because even though I hadn't talked to Deontay Wilder personally, I know people that had. And on top of that, I know the type of character that Deontay Wilder has. And I just couldn't see him taking no step aside money. First of all, it's not even enough money in boxing right now with this pandemic going on to give any of these guys $20 million just to sit on the sideline and do nothing. So y'all should have thought about that before y'all ran with those rampant lies, that was coming out. Second of all, you just look at Deontay Wilder's history. Like I said, if you go back and look at his character, and look at the history of what type of man he is, none of that says that he would ever step aside in a big mega fight like that, especially when it's personal. So I don't know why people was running with Deontay Wilder was going to take step aside money. You feel me? So Bob Arum, in a recent interview he just did, y'all actually could go check that interview out on Barbershop Conversations. Bob Arum talked about a whole lot. He did a hell of an interview, and he talked about a whole lot. So, and he also said that it was a lie. He said that, Deontay Wilder wasn't taking no step aside money. And he also said Pulev wasn't going to take step aside money to step aside and not fight Anthony Joshua. And this is the thing. Not only were you guys running with that Deontay Wilder was going to take step aside money, then you were just assuming that Pulev was also going to take step aside money. And 20 million at that? Come on now. With everything going on, it wasn't going to happen. John Anthony says, what can Deontay do different in the rematch? And do you actually believe his excuse with the suit? Okay. So John Anthony, just answer yes or no. Okay. Just yes or no questions. Okay. Did you ever hear Deontay Wilder say that the suit is the reason why he lost? Just yes or no. Did you ever hear him come out and say that? That's all I need is a yes or no. Cassandra Mason says, glad you cleared that up. So, John Anthony, you said, you're telling me right now that you heard him say out of his own mouth that that's the reason he lost. No, that's not what he said. He never said that. He never said that. And the reason that that story came out in the first place is because he was talking to, I guess you would say, a reporter privately, and that was asking him, what went wrong, basically like you weren't looking like yourself and what went wrong. And he responded, and he was brainstorming through a lot of different things that, why he felt, different. He was saying that he felt different. He didn't feel like himself. And, the journalist was asking him what was wrong. And he said, I don't know. He was like, but I know that the suit felt really heavy. He was like, I wasn't expecting to have that suit on that long. And I had it on for, I had the suit on for however long he had it on, because if you look back, right? If you look back, whatever story you putting in the link, John Anthony, it's bullshit because you're not putting up a story in the link that's Deontay Wilder saying that out of his own mouth. You're putting up a story in the link with somebody else speculating on what Deontay Wilder said. So if you're going to come on here and put up links, put up facts. I asked you, did you hear that come out of Wilder's mouth? Because you heard Deontay Wilder do an interview prior since then. You also heard Deontay Wilder do a post-fight interview. So you didn't hear him say that. So continuing on to what I said, he was asked, and he was brainstorming through a lot of different things that could have went wrong. And one of the things that he said is, I don't know. He was like, but I know the suit was very heavy. He said, I had the suit on for a long time, and the suit weighed 40 pounds, 50 pounds, or whatever the suit weighed. Now, if you remember, Deontay Wilder came out first. Tyson Fury came out after Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury had a very long ring walk. And I don't think that Deontay Wilder was expecting to have that suit on. But he did not ever say that was the reason why he lost the fight. Now, what you did hear him say out of his own mouth, right? You heard him say that he didn't feel himself from the very beginning. He said he didn't feel himself. He said a lot of things went wrong in that fight, but he said he don't really want to talk about it. That's what you heard him say. Okay? Now, just like everybody took it and ran with it when you heard these same reports coming out saying that he was going to take step aside money, that they're ready to make a Joshua and Fury fight because Deontay Wilder was demanding this amount of step aside money, 20 million and 10 million and so on and so on. You believed all of that. When I came on here and I told y'all all that was bullshit, right? Just the same way you believe these stories that tried to flip it and twist it and say that he blamed his loss on a suit. Okay? So you said, why did he even bring up a suit? The reason he brought up the suit was because he was asked a question, basically they asked him, like, what went wrong? You didn't look the same. You look different. And that was one of the things that he was brainstorming. Like, it could have been that, the suit was too heavy. I had it on for, 20 minutes or so. I wasn't expecting, that was one of the things, my legs, he said his legs were, were weak. His legs were weak, I mean, and that's, so he was asked, like, why were you looking different? And he was saying that could have been one of the things, but he didn't know. Y'all wanted to run with that shit. Now, as far as what he could do differently, first of all, I mean, he could look more like he did himself, like he did himself in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? First of all, I mean, we've never really seen Deontay Wilder look like that. If anybody look at that fight and say, oh, he looks like that every fight. No, he doesn't. I mean, anybody could look at the fight and tell, that he didn't look like himself. But as far as what he could do differently, I mean, yeah, he has stuff that he could work on and he could do differently. It's a lot that he could do differently. I've already talked about, I've actually had a show and broke down what all he could do differently. But just go at the first fight. Go if you go to the first fight, right? And you can look at the first fight and just see a lot of different things that he did in the first fight that he wasn't doing in the second fight. I mean, he fought on his back foot the whole time, right? He fought off of his back foot the whole time. We don't really see Deontay Wilder fight off of his back foot like that much, I think that he could control the range with his jab a lot more. Obviously, you could see that his legs wasn't under him, especially after he got hit behind the head. His legs really wasn't under him, after that. And hit my like button, hit the like button. It don't take no time to hit the like button. Tap in, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Everything Boxing and Sports. But I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, yeah, he doesn't have nothing that he needs to improve on. Obviously, he needs to improve on a few things. But obviously, he didn't look the same. And I don't see a third fight going anything like the second fight was going, But, I mean, everybody has their opinion on who's going to win the fight, this trilogy fight. And that's cool. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion, Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But at the end of the day, don't come and make it, run with all of the rumors that you hear. Marlon So Icy Sims. Hey, what's good with it, fam? Marlon So Icy Sims is an up-and-coming, undefeated, young, hungry lion, okay? Y'all, everybody need to go follow and check out Marlon So Icy Sims. Marlon, put in your information so I can let everybody know where to follow you at. You know, everybody need to get behind Marlon So Icy Sims because he is the future. He's a young up and coming beast. And you know, go check him out and go support him now before he blow up and get too big on y'all. Tranisha Foreman, what's good with it, Queen? How you doing? Yeah, no, I feel you. John Anthony, I don't have no beef with you. I feel you. But I'm just saying that at the end of the day, we never heard Deontay Wilder say there was a reason why he lost. You feel me? So we can't run with that and act like that he was just sitting up here making a million excuses because we never heard him say nothing like that. Until we hear a man say some shit out of his own mouth, let's stop running with it, you know, because these guys have the same social media platforms. They do the same interviews that everybody else do. So if they want to say that, he can say that out of his own mouth. Mark, go follow everybody. Go follow Marlon So Icy. He on Snapchat at Marlon underscore So Icy all together. SOICEY. At Twitter at Marlon So Icy. All right, go follow him on Twitter at Marlon So Icy. And if you got Facebook, it's at Marlon So Icy. Okay. Go follow Marlon So Icy Sims. Once again, like I said, he an up and coming, young, hungry, undefeated lion. Go check him out. All right. And also on Instagram is at Marlon So Icy on Instagram. Right. So if you type in any of these platforms, Marlon So Icy, you're gonna be able to find it. And he put his info. If you on Facebook, he got his info in the comments. Yeah, go check him out and support him. Jamie Bachelor, what's good with it? Yeah, ain't nobody, I mean, ain't nobody worried about that clown. Ain't nobody worried about that clown. You know what I'm saying? Cause I mean, if he get on here, I'm gonna cook him. I'm gonna cook him some fried catfish. For real. He don't want that smoke with me. I guarantee you that. Um, so like I said, at the end of the day, like I said, um, once again, it's a lie. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury are going to be fighting the trilogy fight. But you know, let's talk about that fight. Let's talk about, you know, the changes that's probably going to happen. You know, that's going to have to happen. First of all, with everything going on, Bob Arum was saying that they might be looking to have that fight at a, you know, overseas, like, you know, in a different country somewhere, you know, maybe over in Saudi Arabia, maybe in Dubai, like, you know, they're maybe looking for a different site out of the country to have that fight, because in order to pay those guys those, you know, big figures that they want, you're gonna have to have a live gate. You're gonna have to have an audience. And right now, what's going on, we can't have a huge pay-per-view with a big ass audience in Vegas or wherever it may be, you know, because hey, this pandemic is far from over. So we might be seeing it, you know, we might be seeing them fight somewhere else. But Bob Arum did talk about it. He did say that that fight, you know, is going to be taking place sometimes towards the end of the year, you know, November, December time. Now, by that time, will we be fully recovered, excuse me, from this pandemic? I don't know. You know, we just got to wait and see. I really don't know. We just got to wait and see. But at the end of the day, whether we get it in the, over here in the States, or we have to do it, overseas somewhere, or in a different country. I want to see it. I want to see it. I think it's a huge fight, but I do agree with what Bob Arum was saying. You got to think, off the last fight, they made 17 mil alone off of the live gate, right? Just off of the tickets, they made 17 mil alone. And that's not even counting the revenue that they pulled in from, merchandise, the revenue that they pulled in from sponsorships. That's just some of the money that they made. And, when you have a big fight with a live gate with fans, you making millions on, on revenue from merchandise and everything. So that's going to be a big factor when we talking about a big fight like Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. And that's going to be a huge factor with a lot of these other fights that we want to see, And let me get through some of these comments. What do I think about Eddie Hearn hosting a boxing show at his house? I don't know. I ain't heard nothing about that. Yeah, exactly, John Anthony. It's like, how you gonna pay the fighters with no live gate? Well, like I said, Bob Arum, he talked about that. A lot of these fighters are gonna have to take a lot less than what they were making. And they're just gonna have to come to that, they're just gonna have to realize that, that they're not gonna be able to get these big, huge purses that they were getting, before, until everything goes back to normal. They're not gonna be able to get it. So as far as, paying Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder 40 million a piece or 30 million a piece, I don't know. I don't know. The only way that they're going to be able to do that is they're going to have these fights out of the country. You see what I'm saying? They're going to have to, secure a site fee out of the country. And some of these, big multi-billionaires out of the country, they're willing to pay these fighters. But other than that, they're not going to be able to do it. John Anthony says Crawford said he ain't taking no cuts. Well, Crawford can sit his ass on the sideline and not make nothing. So it is what it is. I mean, he could talk about, and Bob Arum, he actually spoke on that. He was like, okay. Basically, what he said, to sum it up, is Crawford ain't running shit. Crawford can either fight and take what he's paid, or he can sit on the sideline and make nothing. Straight up. So I mean, it is what it is. Like Bob Arum said, he's not going to beg Crawford or Lomachenko or none of these guys to fight. He's not going to beg for them to fight. But he's not going to submit to their demands because the money's not there. And that's just what it is. So, let's go ahead and move along. I want to talk about, boxing. Boxing is going to be back. Boxing is coming back. Bob Arum, in the interview that he did, like I said, you could check that interview out on Barbershop Conversations. It was a great interview, great interview. And he talked about a lot. Like I said, he talked about a lot. One of the things that he did say is that he talked about boxing coming back in a few weeks. I think June 9th, I believe, June 9th or somewhere around there. The second week of June, right, is the target date, right? And what he talked about is Shakur Stevenson is probably going to fight someone. We don't know who Shakur Stevenson is going to fight yet, but Shakur Stevenson should be fighting on that card, right? On top of Shakur Stevenson fighting on that card, it's going, he talked about after that, he's looking to have okay, Marlon So Icy Sam said June 6th. Okay, yeah, I knew it was somewhere around there, right? So he said, Bob Arum said that Shakur Stevenson will be fighting on that card. Marlon So Icy Sam says it's on June 6th. But also what Bob Arum said is he said he's looking to have a fight card, right? Twice a week, all the way up until, all the way through June, July, and maybe up until, through August, right? He's looking to have a fight card twice a week. Now, this is the thing, y'all. Listen to this. This is what I thought was very interesting. And this tells you that Bob Arum, he hella smart. I mean, he's hella smart. His brain still works like a 20-year-old man, right? Although he's 80-something years old, he hasn't lost a step in his brain. Bob Arum said that he's looking to have 2 fights a week, right? He says I believe he said on Tuesday and Thursdays, right? On Tuesday and Thursday, he's going to have a fight card on Tuesday and Thursday. And the reason he said Tuesday and Thursday, he said because, right, since there's no live gate, right? He says when you haven't before, when we were able to have an audience, he says the weekends were great. He says because people are out, watching fights during the weekends. People are traveling, able to go to these venues on the weekends. So it helped the live gate out a lot. Now he says that there's no audience. He says you got to look at the way television works. He says Tuesday and Thursdays are the best time to have, events for people to watch on television. He said people are at home, they're not doing nothing, and they're at home watching television. That's why he's looking to have an event every Tuesday and Thursday, somewhere, sometime during prime time. Basically to, kind of cover for not being able to have these live gates, for not being able to get these ticket sales. And when I heard that, I was like, man, Bob Arum, he really know what he's doing. He really a businessman, because I hadn't heard any of these other promoters. Well, I mean, the only other promoter that really talked like that is Eddie Hearn, and I hadn't really heard Eddie Hearn talk about nothing like that. So yeah, that's gonna be good. As far as pay-per-view, I don't know. It's as far as pay-per-view, I mean, right now, I know a lot of people getting, these stimulus checks, and they getting they getting unemployment and all of that. So, but what's gonna happen when it gets worse? When the stimulus checks runs out and the unemployment ain't there no more, and they still not, letting people go back to their jobs. Where I'm at, it's kind of different because they kind of opened up the whole city. I'm not out in it. I'm not going to be out in it for a while. But they opened everything back up, basically where I'm at. But I know some states and some cities are still on complete lockdown. Let me see what y'all talking about in the comments. John Anthony says, excuse me. He says the problem is illegal streams, man. He says they lose a lot of money. They need to drop pay-per-view price. That may help reduce the streams. Yeah, you right about that. But have y'all thought about this? Okay, so now you're not able to go to, a live fight. You think a lot more people might be buying pay-per-view. Also, now people miss watching combat sports. You think a lot more people, maybe buying pay-per-views now. I don't know. A good way to gauge what if people are buying more pay-per-views now is to look at the UFC. The UFC just had a pay-per-view. I don't know how well the pay-per-view did. You know, I watched some of it, but I didn't, look into the pay-per-view numbers or even I don't even know if they put out the pay-per-view numbers. If anybody in the building know how well the UFC pay-per-view did, let me know. Tap in the comment section, let us know. Yeah, I remember that when DAZN was saying, when the DAZN, all the DAZN fans were saying PBC was gonna be dead and all that bullshit. I never even, um, put too much thought into that shit. Okay, he said they did 800K pay-per-view at UFC. So 800K, that to me, that's a good number. That's a real good number, But how big is that number compared to the past UFCs? And then you got to think it wasn't like no mega John Jones or Conor McGregor. So so he said 12% of the purse went to the UFC fighters, rest Dana White and the investors. That's crazy. That's crazy. So we already know that these UFC fighters, they've been underpaid for a long time. It was a good card, but like I said, at the end of the day, it wasn't no John Jones, it wasn't no Chris Cyborg, it wasn't no Conor McGregor. It was a good card, but it wasn't no big, huge name like the guys that was on that card. They weren't huge names like some of the names that I named. So we got to compare that card to other cards similar to cards like that, and then look at the numbers and see if people are paying for pay-per-view more now or if they're paying less. Yeah, Tony Ferguson was gonna fight Khabib, but at the end of the day, Tony Ferguson got beat. Tony Ferguson got beat like a motherfucker that owed the cartel money. He took a beating. But yeah, it was a hell of a fight. It was a hell of a fight. All in all, it was a hell of a fight. But like I said, the good thing is that we could look forward to boxing coming back real soon. Hit my like button. Hit the like button and subscribe to my channel on YouTube, Everything Boxing and Sports. Go over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. And like I said, we can look forward to boxing coming back real soon. I know everybody itching like a dope fiend for boxing to come back. Everybody been itching to see boxing come back again. And I can't wait. I can't wait. Shakur Stevenson, I can't wait to see Shakur Stevenson back in the ring. Shakur Stevenson, to me, is the best young talent out there. To me, Shakur Stevenson is the best young talent out, and I can't wait to see Shakur Stevenson back in the ring again with the rest of these guys. Like I said, they haven't really revealed who's all going to be on the card, but I do know that Shakur Stevenson is one fighter that's going to be on that card. Let me get through some of these comments. Jamie Batchelor says, wasn't that card close to everyone though? I don't know if you're talking about the UFC card. Now the UFC card that they had, yeah, that was yeah, the UFC card, it didn't have nobody in the audience, of course, but it was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of more intriguing to me because you could hear a lot more. Like you could hear exactly what the corner was saying. You could hear the referee. You could hear all of that shit. Cassandra Mason says, yeah, wait, WWE alone just isn't cutting it. Now, that's a sport. I mean, that entertainment, whatever y'all want to call it, WWE. I grew up on wrestling, I grew up on wrestling in the 80s or early 90s, mid 90s. But yeah, WWE is a lot different without the audience. The audience and all of the antics and everything that goes on with the audience in the WWE, man, It's way different without the audience in the WWE. Way different. You can see like the moves that really, really look real. You know, without the audience, you can see everything, and it's just different. I can't really watch the WWE or wrestling without the audience in it. Yeah, John Anthony said the fighters can hear the commentators. Yeah, it's crazy. They can hear everything. But one thing is the fighters, now we don't have to question if the fighter can hear their corner. You know, we know that the fighters can hear the corner, once they're in the midst of action very well now. So it's going to be very, I think it's going to be, very interesting to see, boxing with no audience whatsoever. It's gonna be, I don't know, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. But all in all, I'm ready for it to come back. With no fans or with fans, I don't really care. Now, let's talk about some of these other fights that's coming up. Let's talk about some of these other fights that's coming up. One thing I want to talk about is Bob Arum. Whether you believe this or not, right? Whether you believe this or not, let's talk about Terence Bud Crawford and who he's going to fight next. Because Bob Arum talked about who Terence Bud Crawford is most likely to fight next. And we're going to get into that. Give me 1 second real quick. Hold on real quick. Okay, so yeah, Sporting Advantage says, what about Wilder and Fury 3 possibly being in Saudi Arabia where they allow the gate? Yeah, they talking about that. They talking about Wilder and Fury 3 being in Saudi Arabia. Now, whether that happens or not, I don't know, but it's a possibility. Like I said, Sporting Advantage, like I said before, in order for these dudes to get the amount of money that they want, they're gonna have to look at that fight being in Saudi Arabia or Asia or somewhere different, that's out of the country. Because they certainly can't have a big fight like that with no audience. Let's think about that. They can't have a fight like Wilder and Fury, Pacquiao, Bud Crawford, Spence and Crawford, and Spence and Danny Garcia, and all of them. Like, how they gonna have those fights like that and pay these guys with no live gate? It just don't make sense. It ain't gonna happen. And Bob Arum said, he said himself, unless Bob Arum said himself out of his own mouth, this is what he said. He says, it can't happen. These fighters can't make that amount unless you got promoters that's willing to just pay these dudes basically, like it's charity. Just pay them out of their own pocket. Like, here, I'm going to take care of you. It's you know what I'm saying? It's charity. And he says, absolutely, he's not willing to do that. He said he's not doing that. So, he said it can't happen. Sporting Advantage says allowing fighters to make gate money is what I lost it. He says is what the build up is for. Sucks to see them miss that. Yeah, but it's not like, shit, everybody going through certain shit right now. Not just fighters, everybody is. John Anthony says the super fights without audience just won't be the same. The build up is so important to build up the drama of the fight. They can still build up the storylines, they just can't do it with an audience, but like I said, we have to wait and see when boxing comes back in a few weeks. We got to wait and see how it is without an audience. You know, the closest thing that we've seen to boxing without an audience, besides sparring and stuff like that, is like watching shows like The Contender. But they still had an audience. They had, the guys from, from the house. There was, participants on the show in the audience, but they didn't have a large audience. That's the closest thing that we as fans have ever seen, to having been close to seeing boxing without an audience. So, we just got to sit back and see. But one thing I want to cook on, I want to talk about right now is Bob Arum, right? Bob Arum saying that Terence Crawford's next fight, right, will either be Manny Pacquiao or Terence Bud Crawford. I'm sorry. My bad. I mixed that all up. I mixed that all up. Bob Arum said that Terence Bud Crawford's next fight will either be Manny Pacquiao or Shawn Porter. Okay. Now, I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if Bob Arum is just talking, but what he did say is he said that Terence Crawford's next fight will most likely, highly likely be Manny Pacquiao or Shawn Porter. Now, what he said is that Manny Pacquiao wants to fight now. He says that he's hearing that Manny Pacquiao wants that fight with Bud Crawford, and Bud Crawford wants that fight as well, right? Now, he says that, if they can't make that fight, the next fight up would be Shawn Porter and Terence Crawford. Now, we all seen that recently Shawn Porter and his dad is coming out talking about, well, more like Shawn Porter's dad is coming out saying that his son want that smoke. Probably most of y'all probably didn't see it, but Kenny Porter recently, he was on doing a live feed, right? And Shawn Porter was in the room, and Kenny Porter was adamant, on saying that he said they, and his son was in the room. So he was speaking for himself and Shawn Porter. He says that's the fight that they want. He says they do want the Terence Crawford fight. So Bob Arum once again says that the next fight for Terence Crawford will either be Manny Pacquiao or to be Shawn Porter. Now, I have a hard time believing that, but I'm gonna just take Bob Arum for his word, what he's saying. Now, he's also saying that the thing is, unless what we've been talking about, on this live feed, unless both of these fighters are willing to take a substantial amount of less money than what they used to get paid, it's not possible, right? He says in order for these fights to happen, they're going to have to take, a little less money, because we got to think it's not going to be, it may not be a live game unless things change and they open up these, arenas and start letting crowds pack back in by the time these fights happen. They'll have to have the fight somewhere outside of the country. They'll have to get, secure a site somewhere in Asia, maybe Saudi Arabia, somewhere over there, and then they'll be able to get paid the money that they want to be paid, because we know that those billionaires over there, they have a whole lot of money to spend, and they ain't got shit else to do with it, and they willing to spend it on big fights like that. Now, do I believe Terence Crawford is gonna step in the ring with Manny Pacquiao or Shawn Porter next? Probably not. I mean, I have a hard time believing it. To keep it 100 with y'all, I have a hard time believing it. You know, I have a really hard time believing it, just for the simple fact is that, I mean, how can I believe that when I've heard rumors like this over and over again, and I still haven't seen, you know, Bob Arum put Terence Crawford in the ring with nobody like that. And we all know that Bob Arum, he don't like to pay fighters. He don't want to pay fighters like that, you know. And he already made several statements talking about that he knows that Shawn Porter wants too much money, you know. So on one hand, he's telling you, this is the thing why I have a hard time believing any of this shit. Because, right, on one hand, he's telling you that the next fight is most likely to be Terence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao. And if for some reason they can't get that done, it's Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter, right? But then he'll turn around and tell you that, oh, well, you know, I don't see the Shawn Porter fight happening because we know that Shawn Porter wants too much. That's a fight that we would love, but Shawn Porter want to get paid too much. So if Shawn Porter want to get paid too much, what you think Pacquiao want to get paid? So all in all, I mean, unless they have this fight somewhere overseas, I mean, or somewhere in one of these other, you know, countries, somewhere else out of the U.S., okay, Asia, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, wherever it may be, right? Unless they have it somewhere else, I don't believe it happening. You know, not this year, but we just got to see. We just got to see. What y'all feel about that? You know, John Anthony says, me personally, I can't take Crawford seriously after he rejected the Crawford fight. I think you meant to put somebody else. He wanted all the bag without any risk fights in between. Why would Al Heyman take the business risk? I think you might have been talking about after he rejected the Errol Spence fight. I don't know, because everybody was talking that Spence was ducking, but we all know that Spence, out of his own mouth, we seen, oh, he meant Shawn Porter, okay? Because Errol Spence, out of his own mouth, says we can make it happen anytime if Terence Crawford wanted to take 60-40. And Terence Crawford came out immediately and said that he not taking no 60-40. So, I mean, like I said, that tell you a lot right there. He think he's worth more, a lot more than what he really worth. But his pay-per-view numbers, you know, not taking nothing away from his skills in the ring, because his ring skills, they there. You can't knock him in the ring. But as far as his pay-per-view numbers, all I gotta say is you know what I'm saying, men lie, women lie, but numbers do not lie. That's it. Do the research and tell me that he's worth 50-50 against Errol Spence right now or whenever he said it, and I'll show you a lie. Cleo Floyd says, why not Ugas? I don't really think they want that smoke. I don't think they want no fight like that, because at the end of the day, if you put him in there with Ugas, and Ugas is not a big name, we know who Ugas is. You know, he big to us. We know who he is, but he not a big name in the sport, and he fuck around and lose to Ugas or have a tooth and nails fight with Ugas, what's that going to do to his stock? See, and Bob Arum knows that. He know that. Sporting Advantage says Porter versus Crawford is definitely wanted, but I think Spence is the fight we all want, but we'll never get. We'll get the fight. We just not gonna get it this year. We'll get that fight. Both of them have been talking about they want that fight. We'll get that fight. Sporting Advantage says I had Spence fighting Canelo 21-20. I did too. I actually had Spence. If before that wreck happened and everything happened with Spence, I actually had Spence fighting Canelo this year. in May. I had said last year, you know, and the year before that, that Spence and Canelo would fight in May of 2020. But we all know, you know, what happened. Everything changed drastically. But I still think if everything had went perfect like it was supposed to, I think that fight could have still happened. You know, uh, John Anthony said he don't think that that Top Rank or Bud Crawford want that risk. Yeah, Ugas is too big of a risk and without having that big huge name. So if I mean that's but I mean what y'all think about Pacquiao? What y'all think about Pacquiao and Crawford? You know, do y'all think that could happen? Because we all know that Pacquiao has the biggest name out of all of them. Can that happen? Jimmy Johnson says if Pacquiao wants to smoke, he would have signed with PBC. Facts. Facts. Let me see. Cleo Floyd says, my concern for Crawford is that he's not fighting any legit 147 pounders. Fighting cab drivers and then going against Spence is problematic. He said Spence is taking tough fights. This is the third one in a row. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, and I agree with what Cleo Floyd is saying. You know, them wouldn't be my exact words, but I agree with what you're saying overall, because at the end of the day, look at it like this, right? We got to look at it like this. Iron sharpens iron, right? Iron sharpens iron. Now, Errol Spence is getting a lot better experience with the fights that he's taking, right? If you ain't never been locked in the cage with a hungry pit bull and they throw you in there with a hungry pit bull, what you gonna do when they throw you in there? You know, when you've been locked in the cage your whole life with poodles, right? You've been in there locked in there with poodles, and then one day they grab you and just throw you in there with a motherfucking lion. What you gonna do? How are you gonna, you know what I'm saying? What are you gonna do? So it's just like Spence, he been in there with lions and gorillas, you know. So when shit get hectic, we know how he gonna come out. We know how he gonna perform. But not saying that Terence Crawford not gonna know what to do, or he not gonna perform to the level that, you know, to that super number one pound for pound level that everybody has him at. I'm not saying that he won't, but we don't know. And, you know, he's not getting the live, you know, training to be able to, you know, show us that he is going to perform at that level. Because it's like he could get in there with, you know, with Errol Spence that's on a whole different level than anybody that he been in the ring with. He could get in there with Shawn Porter that's on a whole different level with anybody that he ever been in the ring with. Manny Pacquiao on a whole different level than anybody that he's ever been in the ring with. And we could see a whole different Terence Crawford. I mean, how many times have we seen guys, you know, throughout all of the years that we've been watching boxing, right? Following boxing, involved with boxing, whatever it may be with your case, right? How many times have you seen a guy that was running through everybody and we thought that they was just the best thing that we didn't see since fucking Roy Jones in his prime or Sugar Ray Robinson or whatever, you know? And then he finally get in there with another A+ level opponent, you know, and he gets smoked out. And then we all sitting there trying to figure out what happened, what went wrong, you know. Remember, shit. I mean, for example, just one example, right? When Fernando Vargas jumped in the ring with Oscar De La Hoya and got the dog shit beat out of him. Nobody was expecting that. But what happened was Fernando Vargas hopped in there with a fucking gorilla, and he had never been in the ring with nobody on that level before. And it turned out a lot different than what we all thought it was going to turn out like. So, like I said, if that happens with Terence Crawford, and I'm not, and don't flip and twist my words, because I'm not saying that's going to happen. But I'm saying if it does happen, it ain't going to be the first time, and it's not going to be the last time. Mike Oliver says, it happened to me one time. He says, I thought I would run through, he said, I thought I would run through the body into, he said, okay, I think he was saying he thought that he would run through everybody until he met the right person, right? And that happens to the best of us in life. You know what I'm saying? All it takes is that right person to get in there in the ring with, and bam. You know, we see dudes in college football dominate college football. Dominate, right? But then when they get up to the NFL and they forming with all these other A+ level athletes, they got the same skill set or got different skill sets but better that equal out with them. What happens? Then we start calling them bust. A lot of them dudes are bust. And Deontay Wilder, John Anthony, is not a classic example, right? Deontay Wilder is not a classic example. Deontay Wilder defended his title 40 times. Deontay Wilder fought other heavyweights and did what other heavyweights that had fought him in the past couldn't do. To this day, still ain't nobody else been able to fuck with Luis King Kong Ortiz, the man that was the most ducked heavyweight in boxing. So if you're going to sit here and say that Deontay Wilder is a classic example, then Anthony Joshua got to be a classic example. Mike Tyson got to be a classic example. Lennox Lewis got to be a classic example. And we got to go on and on. So let's keep that same energy and let's not single out Deontay Wilder, because that's not the case. Because Deontay Wilder has fought top level competition already, right? And Deontay Wilder fought Tyson Fury in the first fight and showed that he wasn't no fluke. But we all forgot about when he knocked out Tyson Fury the first fight. So you can't use Deontay Wilder as an example. If you're using Deontay Wilder and saying that he's an example, then you're saying that Tyson Fury and Luis Ortiz, they're bums. So if you're going to make it make sense, please make it make sense. Mike Oliver says, you got to go to YouTube and see me on YouTube. Definitely. I'm going to go check it out. I'm sure going to check that out. Matter of fact, I'm going to take a little real quick intermission and go check it out. Pull it up right now. So once again, Mike Oliver said that what we talking about right now happened to him, right? He says that he was fighting. Basically, what he's saying is he's fighting a certain level of opponents, running through them, and he thought that he could run through everybody until he stepped in there with another fucking lion, and it was a different outcome than what he thought. And that's what I'm saying. Let me see. And that's all I'm saying. Oh, Mike Oliver, I watched you fight before. I didn't know you was that Mike Oliver. Yeah, I've seen you fight before. I know exactly who you are, Mike. Yeah, and like Mike Oliver said, that's all. At least put Terence Crawford in there We need to see him against somebody, you know? Mike Oliver. Yeah, I used to, I've actually seen a lot of your fights coming up. I've seen a lot of your fights. I've seen a lot of your fights. Salute to Mike Oliver in the building. Mr. Finesse says, we have seen Hall of Fame fighters lose to so-called bombs repeatedly. Wilder wins 40 straight. Then he says Wilder wins 40 straight. That ain't luck, it's greatness. Straight up. You cannot count Wilder out and call him a bomb and call him it was luck and all of that shit, right? You can't do that because of the simple fact is he lost. This is the thing where a lot of people get me, and I'm not singling nobody out. I'm just saying overall in general. This is the thing, right? Everybody say, I see all of these same people that saying that Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in all of heavyweight boxing. That Tyson Fury is one of the greatest heavyweights to ever step in the ring, right? Right? But then they want to shit on Deontay Wilder and say that he's the worst heavyweight and that he's this, and that because he lost to the guy that you guys are calling the best heavyweight in boxing and the best heavyweight that's been in boxing for years and years. So if you really think about it, how does that make any sense? When that same guy that you saying is the best heavyweight, this, and that, he licked the canvas twice against the guy that you said that was the worst heavyweight in boxing in years and years, and that all his victories were just lucky off of one punch. So how did the best heavyweight in this era and in years and years lick the canvas twice in the same fight against the guy that y'all are saying that is a bomb and the worst heavyweight? If anybody can make sense, that makes sense to me. Please do. Mike Oliver says he was 26-11 with 8 TKOs. Right. Cleo Floyd says Wilder got punched one last fight. Got punched on last. Wilder got punched on last fight. Yeah, okay. He says, but damn near killed Fury the first fight. Fight 3 will be interesting. Facts. You know what I'm saying? He knocked out, whatever you want to say, he knocked out Fury the first fight. Period. Whatever you want to say. Fury got up, you know what I'm saying, and was able to finish the fight. But if you count like you're supposed to count, he knocked out Fury the first fight. Fury came back and he did whatever he did. But we're gonna act like Fury didn't have his fist in the palm of the glove. We're going to act like none of that never happened, but that's a whole different story that I'm not even going to get into, because if I fuck around and get into that, we're going to be on here for 4 hours, and I don't got all that time. John Renaud, okay, hold on. Since you said that Deontay Wilder got his ass beat twice, right? I'm gonna give you. This the opportunity I'm gonna give you right now. I'm gonna put a link in there because I'm not finna go back and forth with you, right? I'm not about to go back and forth with you. I'm gonna put a link. I'm gonna put a link, and I'm gonna give you a chance to come on here and debate what you're saying, right? I'm gonna give you a chance to come on here live and debate all of the stuff that you're saying in the comments. So hold on. I'm going to drop the link for you right here. All you got to do is click on the link. Hold on real quick. And anybody else that want to click on the link and join in, you feel free to join in also. But I'm going to put the link in here for you to click on. And then you can come in here and explain what you're talking about. Or matter of fact, go over to YouTube, go to my YouTube page if you can't get it on here, and I'm gonna put the link. Give me a second. Bam. There go the link right there. There's the link. Click on the link and yeah, you don't need to do all that. You know better than to get on here. Because you're gonna get embarrassed. I wouldn't get on that camera if I was you neither. You know what I'm saying? But if you embarrassed to be seen on camera, you ain't gotta be seen. You could just click it, you know, and it won't even put you on camera. But your voice will be heard. But you don't want that smoke. You do not want the smoke. For real. But moving along. Moving along. Yeah, so like I said, I would love to see Terence Crawford fight either one of those dudes, Pacquiao or Shawn Porter. But like I said, it's hard for me to believe. It's really hard for me to believe that he gonna fight either one of those dudes. It's really so. I mean, if Shawn Porter if Terence Crawford don't fight either Manny Pacquiao or Shawn Porter, who does he fight next? Because I'm not finna accept him fighting another Russian or whatever that we never heard of. If Errol Spence is out here about to fight Danny Garcia next, right? After being in a horrific car accident, it ain't no excuse for Terence Bud Crawford to come back and fight a Rudy Poop motherfucker that we ain't never heard of before. It ain't no excuse, period. John Anthony says Kell Brook. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing. I mean, that's a fight. That's somebody. That's somebody better than these other dudes he's been fighting. But Kell Brook. Let's talk about Kell Brook. Kell Brook is a mystery to me, right? Kell Brook is a big mystery to me because although we still don't even know if Kell Brook is washed up. Everybody assumed that Kell Brook is washed up, but you know, we forgetting that Kell Brook ain't lost to nobody but Errol Spence and Gennady Golovkin when he moved up 2 weight classes, right? Right? So we really don't even know if Kell Brook still got it or if he don't still got it. We don't know, John Anthony. We don't know if Kell Brook is washed up or not. That's an assumption. We can't say that Kell Brook is washed up until we see him get the shit beat out of him. And we still haven't seen nobody beat Kell Brook yet. All of that is just an assumption. We're assuming that he's washed up, right? We're assuming that he's washed up, but we don't know that. We don't know how. Now, you said that Kell Brook's last fight was horrible. How was his last fight horrible when he got the KO? He knocked the dude out. I saw that last fight he had. He didn't look super impressive. He looked like he had some ring rust, but it wasn't horrible. I mean, he got the knockout. He did what he was supposed to do. So, you know, I don't know. Mr. Finesse says Kell Brook is a setup. Either way, I'll watch that Kell Brook fight. I would like to see him fight Kell Brook. Now, I don't want to see him fight Kell Brook over Manny Pacquiao or Shawn Porter. Of course not. And I don't want to see him fight Kell Brook over someone like a Ugas. But I mean, if he can't get to fight against any of those guys, Kell Brook, I don't have a problem with Kell Brook. I've been saying that for a long time, so I'm going to keep that same energy, and I can't switch up all of a sudden now and talk shit about him fighting Kell Brook, because before I said that I would love to see him fight Kell Brook. That was one of the fights that I was basically, you know, I was pushing for. I was pushing to see Terence Crawford fight Kell Brook before. So I'm gonna keep that same energy. I don't have a problem with that fight because Sandra Mason says maybe he could fight Mikey Garcia. Mike Oliver, he tapped in. Let me go ahead and tap you in. Hold on. What's good with it? Hold on. Can you? I can't hear you. Can y'all hear him? I can't hear him. Hold on, my dude. He could fight Mike. Hold on. Can y'all hear him? I don't know if I don't know why I can't hear you. Hold on.
Can you? What about? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
All
I
right,
can hear
listen.
you now.
Hold on. I'm on the phone. Go over there.
We got Mike Oliver.
I'm gonna tell you this much.
Professional fighter.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this much about boxing, all right? Because half of the people I get on your show all the time, and they piss me off a lot. They don't know what they talking about boxing. Kell Brook is a good fighter. All right, I don't care if you washed up or not, whatever. If he still got it, he got it. Everybody want to see Terence Crawford. Everybody wants to see Terence Crawford and Pacquiao fight sometime. That's the fight they want to see. They want, and also with Deontay Wilder, he came from a big step from where he was at right now. You know what I'm saying? Then Tyson Fury, he's not the best heavyweight in the round. Tyson Fury is not the best heavyweight, and I'm being honest with you because I've been boxing since I was little. I turned pro 2001 and everything like that, and he's not. Hold on, go. He's not the best fighter, and I respect you because you honest and true. You like Kelly Alice. You tell everybody what's going on, and people they think it's funny. You know, like Tyson Fury, he's not the best fighter. He's not the best heavyweight in the world. He's not. Who he fought? He haven't fought nobody. He haven't fought nobody. You know what I'm saying? And Deontay Wilder, I consider him one of the best because he fought a lot of top fighters and everything like that. I'm saying because I'm a former fighter. You know, I fought several people. I fought a lot of people, and I thought I could beat them at 120.
Let the people know some of the guys that you fought during your career.
I fought Juan Lopez. I fought Juan Lopez and everything like that. I thought I could beat him. I went to Puerto Rico. I lost. I fought I fought top name guys out there.
And this is one of Juan was that. And let everybody know when you fought Juan Lopez, because for people
Juan Lopez, October 1st, Puerto Rico, and
what year?
You can't beat him. You can't beat him. I went out there with a broken shoulder, and I did good 2 rounds, and I tried him overhand right, and I popped it out. I popped it right up out the socket, and you know what I'm saying. I was blessed to fight for the WBO title. It was good to fight there and everything like that. You know, I was supposed to fight Salido. That's when I got hurt, so I had to pull out. Went to therapy, did everything. They said I was okay. The doctor gave me okay. I went back like a dummy instead of waiting, and I went on there and I broke my shoulder. You know, and boxing brought me a lot. It brought me to where I'm at right now, a former world champion. You know, I had the IBF. I was number 1. I was number 2 for the IBF. I was at the USBA, and you know I had different titles, and I'm glad to be what I was doing right there. But you know, like I said, to get in your life, I come to your every time you come on, I come to your life all the time, and I listen to the thing you say, and it's true to be saying. Half of the people that get on your line, they don't know about boxing. All right, they don't know nothing about boxing, and we're gonna get back right now with Tyson Fury. Nobody knew what Tyson Fury did in that fight. Nobody knew what he did in that fight. If you go back to any fight, like there's any fight that you know that a Mexican fighter do, what they do is when you get brand new gloves, the gloves be so tight, so when you get in there, it's supposed to fit in there. Why the hell Tyson Fury and them had a big dent in their glove? Nobody don't know about it.
Right.
Nobody don't know about it because you know what I'm saying. it's up to your trainer. If I'm fighting you, and what I do, I'll send my people to your dressing room to make sure your gloves are fit right. They didn't do that for Wilder. He wasn't smart enough. So you got to be smart enough to go to check out your gloves and stuff. Because it happened plenty of time, man. Trust me, plenty of time.
Well, I mean, look at Margarito. Look how long he was able to get away with it. You know, get
Yeah,
that's just one example.
When he fought Cotto, when he had the cast arm and everything in there, you know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
did it. It took him a long time. The only person that's smart, it was Mayweather. Mayweather picked everything up with Canelo. Mayweather said, whoa. If you want me to fight him, he got to do a test. He got to do a test and everything like that. Mayweather made him do a test. And what it came out, the test came out that he tested for steroids and everything. But so you gotta understand that people gotta be safe in that. People gotta get Wild the credit for being 40 and 0. You know, who the hell make 40 and 0? I thought I would make that.
And like you said, you're a former boxer, right? You hear all of these people say, "Oh, Wilder's trash," and it's a fluke. You know, he didn't fight nobody. It was lucky that he went 40 and 0, and so on and so on. What do you got to say to people that says that shit that's never been in the ring before?
What I'm gonna say is this, all right? Excuse my language. Y'all don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. All right? When we get in the ring, you want to kill whoever you fight. I don't care if they tomato cans, whoever. So y'all don't know. Y'all gotta do research of some of these fighters that come out. Some of these fighters that be overseas, that come over to our country, they make it to the Olympics and everything like that. And you know, you can't be saying that to an American person that's going out there trying to bring the title back to our native town, back to the U.S. But you know, they bunch of bullshit because they never got in the ring before. They never been in the ring. They never been in the ring before. You know what I'm saying? So when you get them 8-ounce gloves on and them 10-ounce gloves on, without the head and everything, then you come and talk all the talk you want to talk about. Cause trust me, when them 8-ounce gloves hit you, they bad, man. I mean, you could get cuts like crazy. When it was my thing, I was like 8-0. 8-0, got a bad cut on my eye. Bad cut. And I had this dude from Canada. I was like, man, listen, they're gonna stop. And I was worried. I'm like, man, they're gonna stop this fight. I can't have this fight stop. I need this. I want to win this title. He said, don't worry about it. I said in the corner. No blood came down. So please, y'all, they gotta respect me. Y'all got to respect Wilder, because Wilder is an American fighter that comes in there. Yeah, he had a bad, training camp didn't go so good for him. Whatever he did was messed up, but you gotta get back on your A game to go back and do what you gotta do. That's how I see it.
Now, Wilder, he talked about, he says a lot of things went wrong. We all saw that, he just wasn't himself. He wasn't. Now, I tell people all the time, I said, you've seen LeBron James, you didn't see Michael Jordan, you didn't see everybody in every sport, right? They have a night where they just don't feel like they self and they perform bad, right? I said boxing is different because fighters have those same nights, but it's magnified because it's just them in the ring. They don't have a teammate that could take slack up for them. So, when people try to basically, go around the fact that he didn't look the same, he just had a bad night. What do you say about that? Is it possible to be a fighter and be well prepared, but just have a bad off night or not feel like yourself?
Have you ever had? True. I agree with you 100%. You gotta when you're in a big fight like this for the WBC title of the world, you gotta be your mind. You gotta be in the right mind. All right. His mind was in the right mind. Now we could go back. I'm gonna go back in the days. I'm gonna go back to '96. All right, you probably remember this when Chavez and De La Hoya fought.
Yeah.
De La Hoya and Chavez fought. I told my trainer, Johnny Duke, I said, Duke, listen, I said, Chavez is cut. This fight is not gonna go 12 rounds. They're gonna stop the fight. He said, how you know? I said, listen, I study my fighters. I study how they move in the dressing room, you know, how they act and everything like that. So I told him, I said, it's not gonna happen. There it was. Chavez got to stop because his mind wasn't there right. You know, when you go to training camp, you got to be focused. You got to leave your family alone. You got to leave this alone, leave that alone. You know, and when you're not focused, that's what happened to you. That's what happened to me. I went to the Poconos with Chad Dawson, training with Chad Dawson. Chad Dawson was getting ready to fight against Bernard Hopkins the same year. He was going to California. I was going to Puerto Rico. So I was up there training camp with him, and my mind wasn't there right. And I'm telling my best friend, like, Sammy, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can do this fight. My mind not there right. I'm not focused. And they're like, no, just try to get focused. I tried. Then when I got to Puerto Rico, I didn't get focused at all. I was all with the M, the pump and everything like that. And that's what happened to me. I got out of character. I threw right hand. My shoulders popped out. It came out of place. But, you know what I'm saying? Will I ever do it again? Yes. If I know how to train right and what to do right, I would do it again. But right now, as me being 40 years old, it's time for me. You know, I had my last fight in Puerto Rico. I got hurt. And I was thinking about it, like, why continue doing this when I'm already a legend and I could get hurt? I don't want that to happen. So I got 3 kids to worry about. It's time for me to get out the game and let somebody else take over. I had my share already. Yes, I'm gonna miss it, but I just don't like when people talk shit about my boxing when they don't know.
Let me get into something real quick. So while we on the subject of Deontay Wilder, and I've cooked on this several times, and it really, that should get my blood boiling. And it's just ignorance to me, but I want to get your take on this since you are a former professional fighter and you fought some of the, you know, best guys in the sport in the past. Let me ask you a question. Being that you're 40 years old now, right? A former professional fighter. You, as in, you know, the rest of us, we all grew up and we all got to see Mike Tyson in his prime. Mike Tyson, you know, out of his prime. Mike Tyson when he was older. And now we've seen these little clips of Mike Tyson on some pads. Now everybody is taking that and running with it and saying that a 54-year-old Mike Tyson can beat Deontay Wilder right now. What do you have to say to the people that saying that a 54-year-old Mike Tyson is better than he was 20 years ago or so, almost 20 years ago, when he left the sport, and now he's able to beat a guy like Deontay Wilder?
To be honest with you, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. If Tyson could stay focused and everything like that, and do what he be doing best, move his head and everything, do all his slips and stuff like that, and catch Deontay Wilder with a shot, I say yes. Back then, but now.
No, I'm talking about now.
Yeah, but now you gotta think about a 50-year-old with a young guy that could move around. I wouldn't even go see that fight because it probably look sloppy because, you know, Tyson haven't been in the ring since what? The last fight he's been in the ring was with Lewis. That was the last time, so we don't know when that was.
I think his last fight was he got knocked out, I think 2002.
Yeah, by Lewis.
See, that's the thing. He fought since he fought Lewis. He fought a few times, you know, and he fought a few times against nobodies and lost since he fought Lewis back in the day. He fought Danny Williams. He fought Von Bean. He fought a lot of, you know, he fought a few times and was getting beat by nobodies, you know, since he fought Lennox Lewis. And I believe it was 2002 or somewhere around 2002 was the last time he fought. 2002 or 4. I could pull it up. You know, hold on, I'll pull it up real quick. Let me see.
Yeah, but you know, like I said, man, people got to give people credit to get in there. We don't have to get in the ring to show you. We really play this. Any athlete, basketball, football, baseball, whatever sport they play, You gotta give them respect. You gotta show them respect because we going in there, we're trying to like to show y'all, you know, we letting y'all are performing what we doing. But by y'all shitting on Deontay Wilder, shitting on this person, that person, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all
Now,
y'all get in the ring.
Money Brown TV off in the building. Salute to my brother Money Brown. Dane Henry Jr. Yeah. Okay, yeah, Dane Henry. Yeah, so Mike Tyson, right? Mike Tyson, his last two fights was Danny Williams. He fought Danny Williams in 2004, and then he came back and he lost by KO. And then he got stopped again by Kevin McBride in 2005. Now,
yeah.
don't know.
Because Tyson wasn't in his right mind of game when he was young and everything like that. See, when you're young and hungry, come out the Tyson, people gotta realize that Tyson turned pro at the age of 18. He was the only young man at the age of 18 to win a heavyweight title. People don't give him credit about that, you know. It's you know, it's like this, it's things that people don't know about Tyson. That only one person know about it. It was Don King.
Right.
So if he wasn't with Don King, Tyson still would have been here. But Don King was feeding him this, telling, you know, putting shit in his head to mess him up. That's why Tyson went bizarre and went crazy. You know, that's why that time, since we're talking about Don King, that, you know, I'll be honest with you, Bob Aaron full of shit. He full of shit because if Bob Aaron
Were you ever promoted? Did you ever have to work with Bob Aaron? Were you ever promoted by Bob Aaron for any of your fights?
One thing about Bob Aaron, I was gonna sign with him, but he want only Latinos. You know, he want only Latinos, so I didn't mind it and everything like that. But the thing about it is, Bob Aaron, he's scared to put. I want to see Terence Crawford fight Spence. I don't want to see him fight Pacquiao. What are you gonna get? What are you gonna do with Pacquiao? It's the money right now is Terence Crawford and Spence. Put them together. Let them fight. You feel what I'm saying? Like why you put it with Danny Garcia for what?
Oh, you know, Jamie Calderon. He didn't say that he won a title at 20 years old. He said he turned professional at 20 years old. Mike Tyson turned professional at I mean, he said Mike Tyson turned professional at 18 years old. Not that he won the title. He won the title at 20 years old and turned professional at 18 years old.
He was the youngest. He was the youngest, but you know what I'm saying? Like I said, with Bob Aaron got Lomachenko. Lomachenko's scared of Tank. He's running from Tank. All right. You got that kid Ryan. You got that kid Ryan that's, you know, that's real good. That you got. He's calling out Tank. Come on, we need people like that calling people name out. Like, we want to see good fights. We don't want to see no boring fights and anything like that. That's why boxing now is really going down the drain. UFC's coming up. Why? Because people want to duck this person up. No. I want to see a fight with Terence Crawford and Spence. Put them to fight. They've been battle heads since whenever. And Crawford, Spence said, yeah, you know what time it is. Tell you promote. No, come to agreement. Come with the money. Put it somewhere before we can see the fight. That's what they want to see. You know, we don't want to see.
But it's gonna be a lot different now. You know, as far as the near future, at least until, you know, probably middle of next year, at least. You know, with this pandemic going on, like I was saying earlier, these big fights are not going to be able to be made unless they're out of the country or unless these guys are willing to take a lot less than they used to.
See, that's another thing. People don't realize it. Yes, nobody haven't been in the gym because of the COVID-19 and everything like that, which just sucks. All right. The US people, all gyms closed. Russia, they don't care about it. You know, Russia, anything overseas, they're gonna be in the gym, do what they gotta do. So when it's time to fight, they not over here, they not ready. Why? Because the governor don't want to open up nothing for the kids to go, you know, to train. Let them go to the gym and train. Let them get their stuff back and ready, because when it's time for a fight to come, it's gonna be hard. You know, the money ain't gonna be right, the pay-per-view ain't gonna be right. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I wanna see Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury's fight 3, And also, I want to see him, and I think he's running from Triple Dream. Canelo, I think Canelo running from Triple Dream because that was kind of fixed fight. I want to see
I
him
gotta
happen
disagree
again.
with you on that. I gotta disagree because I think that Canelo clearly beat Triple G the second fight. I think Canelo beat Triple G at his own game. He took the fight to him, and Triple G was crying about that Canelo was going to run and move around, and Canelo took the fight to him, and he actually had Triple G on
Yeah,
his back foot. Um, I just think that Canelo's a lot better than Triple G as of right now at this age. But
yeah,
that's my opinion though. Uh,
yeah, man. So, but the thing about it is like, man, listen, me and you, I could tell you a big fight fan, and whenever you get on, we could do a lot of talking and anything like that. But I want people to go search up on different fighters. Check out their before you come on here and say anything bad about anybody. Check their resume out and see what they did in life. Do that
yeah,
first.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Like if you don't check their resume and say, oh, what he did that, what he do. You gotta remember, Deontay Wilder came out. He came out from the Olympic trials, and everything like that. A lot of the people that came out from Olympic trials, they and went to Olympics wasn't it. I went to the 2000 Olympics, to the Olympic trials. I lost. I turned pro 2001. I had no other choice but to turn pro because I'm not gonna sit there and wait 4 years to go. So I really appreciate it. Y'all, show people the respect they need to get. You know what I'm saying? Like Tyson Fury is not. He's not one of the best heavyweight of all time because you still got Lewis. You still got Lewis. You got Tyson. You got George Foreman. You got all them legends that have been back there. They them the good fights all year round. But Tyson Fury is not. He's not. He's not one of the best. He's not.
Right,
Same thing with Spence and him. We don't know. At 47, we already know who was the best fighter all year round at 47, and that was Sweepy before he passed away. You know what I'm saying? So you can't get these. You got these people. Spence, all of they gotta earn. They gotta earn that gold badge to be the best fighter all time. Without them getting the best badge and everything like that, then it's no good. Spence went
yeah,
overseas. Another thing is Spence went overseas and beat. They told Spence, "Oh yeah, you ain't gonna win. You ain't gonna do this." What Spence do? He went overseas and beat the dude and brought the belt back. You gotta give him credit. He went to their backyard and did what he had to
and
do.
they still didn't give him no credit. And while we on Spence, I want to cook on, the next fight up has been announced is Spence and Danny Garcia sometime this fall coming up. Now, a lot of people was talking about that Spence needed to tune up, this and that, and he adamant, telling everybody that he don't need no tune up. And I agree with it. I mean, you only know your body. Nobody know your body better than you do yourself as a fighter. Now, Spence is in shape. He's been training. He's in good shape already. And he's going to go into training camp this time already in shape. Now, Spence, he's done a few recent interviews, and he said his last fights with Garcia and Shawn Porter, he went into both of those training camps like very out of shape. He went into both of those training camps out of weight and overweight and out of shape. He said he was weighing around 180, 185 pounds, both of those fights, right? So this time he's going to be, in great shape already coming in. And I'm looking at Danny Garcia, right? His opponent. Danny Garcia is not in shape. Danny
No,
Garcia is not in shape at all. I saw Danny Garcia recently. He put up a video, at his swimming pool, and Danny Garcia looks like he's about 190 pounds. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because I think that gives a huge advantage to Errol Spence, and Danny Garcia is giving himself a disadvantage. And for example, let's go back to the Shawn Porter fight. When we saw Shawn Porter and Errol Spence fight, right? Everybody said that Errol Spence didn't look as sharp as he had before in the past. He didn't look like himself, but he was still good enough to still get that win, right? And then later on, we hear Errol Spence talk about it, and he says that he had got undisciplined, that he had to lose, come down from like 180 something pounds, to get to 147 pounds in a matter of a few months. He admitted that. Now he's going to be going in, like I said, once again, he's going to go into training camp already in tip-top condition, already in good shape. So what that helps him focus on now, when he goes into training camp for Danny Garcia, he doesn't have to focus on cutting weight, because that if you're going into training camp so much overweight to where you got to focus 60-70% of your time on cutting weight, you can't focus on sharpening your skills and getting better inside the ring. And I see Danny Garcia having a problem, because Danny Garcia, whenever they start training camp, if he don't start getting his weight down real fast, it's going to affect him, because he's going to have to focus a lot of his training camp on cutting weight. Because like I said, I look at him, you go on Instagram and look at him, he looked like he weighing 190 pounds right now. So I just want to, speaking of that, you being a fighter yourself, what have you ever went into a fight to where you had to focus so much on cutting weight that you felt that it affected you inside of the ring and it affected your training camp?
Well, can you listen? When you go to training camp is all about you being focused. All right, that's one thing about training camp. You got to make sure if the fight is 10 days later, whatever, you got to be in training camp at least. If you fight 147, at least come in like 150 or 155 when it get time, because trust me, it take a lot out of you when you gotta lose weight. Like I say, it happened to me before. I fight at 120. I really fight at 122, but I kept going on 126, and then my last fight was at 122. And I get to Puerto Rico, I thought I was on weight. I jumped on the scale, I'm like 125. I'm like, man, oh my, what I'm going to do? So I jumped, and then I told my trainer, I said, yo, he said, don't worry about it. Friday morning, I'm still 126. I'm like, man, listen, man, the weight's in 2 more hours. What I'm going to do? So I had to go to Walmart real quick. I woke up around like 7 o'clock in the morning, weight's at 11 o'clock in the morning. I had to go to Walmart at 7 o'clock in the morning, get a sauna suit, put that on, run around Puerto Rico, chew and spit, just to make 122. When it's time for the fight that kind of come, I'm in the back, I'm just warming up. And then soon as time to go to the ring, I didn't have it. So you gotta be, when you're in training camp, you gotta be on point with the weight. So it's hard, man.
Because doesn't it take, like, you coming into training camp so heavy, like if a fighter comes into training camp so heavy, like we talking about these dudes, we talking about, 45, sometimes, 45 pounds, 45 pounds overweight, going into a 8-week training camp, 8 to 12 week training camp or whatnot, right? And they coming in 40 pounds overweight. Wouldn't that, I think we lost them. But anyway, let me go ahead and keep going on. You coming in 45 pounds overweight. Don't you think that takes out of your training? You sharpening your skills, you getting better, working on the things that you have to do in training camp. And Errol Spence, he admitted that. He said that himself. Now, Danny Garcia, like I said, if he don't get his weight down real fast, it's gonna be a problem. And let me see if I can show y'all what I'm talking about right now. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can show y'all how heavy Danny Garcia is. So, little blue blood off in the building. Everybody, go subscribe to Blue Blood Sports TV. If you not subscribed to my man, Blue Blood Sports TV, that's my family right there. Go subscribe to Blue Blood Sports TV. If you not subscribed to Blue Blood, you don't really care. If you're not subscribed to Blue Blood, quite frankly, you don't care what's going on in boxing. You don't follow boxing like that if you're not already subscribed to Blue Blood Sports TV. You know, he got all of the late breaking news in boxing before you hear from anybody. Subscribe to Blue Blood Sports TV on on YouTube. My bad. Go subscribe to Blue Blood Sports TV on YouTube. But like I said, I'm gonna show y'all real quick how big Danny Garcia is, and this is a problem. Why is Danny Garcia walking around this big when you ain't got nothing to do but train and you know, because let's not say that Danny Garcia can't train right now. All the money he got, he has a private gym he can train at. So it looked like he just been sitting around chilling. You see, hold on. And I'm gonna try to pull it up, put it in the camera, and show y'all what I'm talking about. And let me see. If he still got it up. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, I don't think he got it up no more. But like I said, Danny Garcia, he looked close to 100 and 190 to me right now. Yeah, Dayton Henry Jr. made another point. He says that's why Keith Thurman had 2 tough fights. It was a fat training camp. Yeah, you can't go into training camp weighing 40, 45 pounds over and think that you're going to be able to fully focus on training camp like you're supposed to. Blue Blood Sports TV says, oh yeah, you already know, no doubt. He says he's gonna have Bob Arum on the show tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. All right, you hear that right here. Everybody, make sure that you subscribe to Blue Blood Sports TV on YouTube, and he will be having Bob Arum on his show tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe to Blue Blood Sports TV, and he gonna have the legendary Bob Arum, Top Ranks, you know, the promoter of Top Rank, on at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We need to, you know, everybody need to tune in, because one thing about Bob Arum, he gonna give it to you raw. You know, I love actually hearing, you know, interviews with Bob Arum, because he's going to give it to you raw. So, you know, I was talking about Bob Arum earlier, you know, about some of the things that he said recently. So you're going to be able to tune in to Blue Blood Sports TV tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you're going to be able to see Bob Arum and ask questions. You know, you're going to be able to, on Blue Blood Sports TV, Bob Arum will be on there live tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure everybody subscribe and tune in. It's simple as that. But yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, with Danny Garcia and Errol Spence coming up, I'm gonna just keep it 100, right? I see Errol Spence putting a hurting on Danny Garcia, and Danny Garcia is not helping himself, walking around out of shape right now. Because see, what are we in? We in May, right? We in mid-May. Say if they have that fight in September or October, right? Danny Garcia gonna have to spend a lot of that time cutting weight, getting down in weight. And having a fat camp, it ain't the thing to do when you in there with a hungry, revamped, vicious Errol Spence Jr. We all heard EJ talk about, how he ready, like how he, how he hungry like he was before he ever had a belt. How he already been training and been in shape. Like I said, hey, but let's not make no excuses for Danny Garcia. But it's gonna be a hell of a fight because no matter what you want to say about DSG, he gonna bring the fight. He not gonna back down. And at the end of the day, he has one of the best chins in all of the sport. Danny Garcia got a chin on him. He got a hell of a chin on him. So it's gonna be a hell of a fight. It's gonna be a hell of a fight. So all of them rumors that you was hearing about Errol Spence taking the tune up, I told y'all the whole time. I said, stop listening to all of that fake bullshit. Didn't I tell y'all? I said, it ain't no way he's fighting no Maurice Lee. I said, this kid Maurice Lee was just doing that. I said it when it first came out. I told y'all. I said, Maurice Lee. I said, Errol Spence ain't fighting no Maurice Lee. I said, it's not happening. I said, it's a 0% chance of Errol Spence fight a Maurice Lee. I told y'all that. And I told y'all that Maurice Lee was just putting that out there to get his name out, right? Y'all can call it clout, y'all can whatever, He was putting that news out there to get his name out, to get himself known, while everything was going on with this pandemic and this quarantine. So yeah, we gonna get the fight that we were supposed to get way back in January. And truthfully, the mind frame that Errol Spence is in right now, I think that we're gonna get a more vicious Errol Spence than we would have got if he had been able to take the fight in January. If he hadn't went through through the situation that he went through, because to me, going through the situation that he went through made him realize, that life is short, and, gave him a chance to really slow down, and look at life in a whole different light and really focus, on getting back to what got him to where he is now. And he admitted that. So you only can respect a man that keep it 100 and that can admit, when they've been slacking off and admit to their wrongdoings. Let me see what he say. Hold on. Let me get through some of these comments and see what y'all talking about. My cousin Sherrod Dixon off in the building. What's good with it, family? And Sherrod, like I told you, Sherrod, I told you before, go subscribe to Blue Blood Sports TV on YouTube, and he gonna have Bob Arum on there, and Bob Arum gonna talk about a lot. All right, Bob Arum gonna talk about a lot that's going on in boxing. Like I said, we supposed to be getting boxing back the beginning part of next month, so in a few weeks, and we gonna be able to get to see Shakur Stevenson. And I cooked on that earlier in the show. Shalom Jones says Dayton Henry Jr. asked AB, he's still waiting on his check, y'all. Don't know shit about boxing or boxing business. They want to cross the street over there, but they can't. They daddy said they can't go off the porch. Yeah, AB, we all seen, AB talking about he ain't gonna box no more unless Al Hammond give him 10 mil. He ain't gonna get that right now. Let's just keep it 100. I don't have no problem with AB asking for whatever money that he think he deserve or whatever, but he can hold his breath on that 10 mil right now because he's not gonna get it. And the reason he's not gonna get it is because I mean, who you gonna put him in the ring with that he hasn't already been in the ring with? He already been in there with Shawn Porter. He already been in there with Manny Pacquiao. Excuse me. We know he's not gonna get in there with a Terence Crawford. And then all of these Floyd Mayweather rumors, I don't believe it. I mean, he could get 10 million. He fought Floyd Mayweather, but that's not gonna happen. I don't believe that shit. That's why I don't even talk about stories like that, because I don't believe that him and Floyd Mayweather is even an option. I think those are just stories that come out to get fans' attention, to keep us talking about something. You know. Stephen Coney says DSG can bang, but Spence is gonna put hands on him. And see, this is the thing with the Danny Garcia and Errol Spence fight. This is a great fight. I think this is a better fight, fan-friendly fight than even Errol Spence and Shawn Porter is. And let me tell you why. Okay, we all know that EJ can bang. You know, he can box, but he can bang too. We know how DSG fight. Danny Garcia is going to come flat-footed, throwing power punches, throwing that power jab, and Danny Garcia is flat-footed, right? So he's going to be there to get hit. No matter what you say about Shawn Porter has good footwork. It's different than what we used to seeing in a boxer. But Shawn Porter has good footwork. And we seen how Shawn Porter was twisting and turning Errol Spence, using his footwork to make that fight difficult for Spence, right? DSG is not going to be able to do that. He flat-footed. He going to be right there in front of you. So it's going to make for a very, very fan-friendly fight. But I see Errol Spence breaking him down. I can't say that EJ gonna get him up out of there, because, like I said before, I can never tell you that a man is gonna get knocked out when he's proven to have a chin. Just like when everybody was saying that Errol Spence was gonna knock out Shawn Porter, and I told y'all that I didn't see him going in there knocking out Shawn Porter, because Shawn Porter was proven, and Shawn Porter had never been knocked out. So I'm gonna say the same thing about Danny Garcia. I see him getting beat, definitely, but I don't see him getting knocked out. And if he does get knocked out, you know, hey, it's going to be a surprise. Dayton Henry Jr. says DSG is going to regret blowing up in weight once he feels that vicious body shot from Errol Spence. Facts. You can't, why I don't understand. Like, Danny Garcia is a veteran. You know, he's done a lot in the sport. So unless Danny Garcia thought that he was going to be able to go in there and fight a Rudy Poop, no name opponent, or just, I ain't even going to say that. Unless Danny Garcia thought that he was going to be able to go in there and fight a lower level opponent for a tune-up, right? I don't see why he let himself get that out of shape. I don't see why he let himself get that out of shape. Because it ain't no excuse. You don't have nothing to do. You can't go to the club and party. You can't do you don't got nothing to do but be with family and train. So why would you let yourself get out of shape? Why wouldn't you take this time to, you know, get in better shape, to sharpen, you know, your tools even more? We see, like I said, we see guys like Errol Spence in the gym. We see Terence Crawford in the gym. We see guys like Devin Haney in the gym. We've even seen clips of Tank Davis in the gym, and we all know how undisciplined Tank Davis is. So I don't understand why Danny Garcia, you know, took this time to let himself get that out of shape. Stephen T. Coney says he's too busy making TikTok videos. That's crazy. Man, I don't know, but like I said, I don't know. It ain't no excuse if you a fighter, you know, right now, to be out of shape. Malachi Walker off in the building. He says, don't sleep on. He says, haha. He says, Swift is a sleeper. I know what Danny Garcia is. I mean, like I said, you can't sleep on Danny Garcia. He's gonna bring a tough fight to anybody he step in the ring with. And styles make fights. And like I said, a fight with Danny Garcia and Errol Spence is going to be a hell of a fan-friendly fight. But I don't see, I don't see DSG winning that fight at all. I see it being a hell of a fight, though. It could be a war. But Danny Garcia is not, giving himself any advantages in going into war with Errol Spence, being so big, so much out of weight. KP from KC5, salute. What it is. Jupiter B off in the building, salute. Todd Swindle off in the building, what it is. Let me see. Todd Swindle says Garcia, he gonna get watched by Errol Spence. Hey, I'm gonna tell you like this. I think so. Like I said, I don't see Errol Spence losing to Danny Garcia at all, but it's gonna be a hell of a fan-friendly fight. As far as you gotta think, styles make fights. So let's just break it down and look at it. The style of fight that both of these guys bring and are capable of bringing, this fight, as far as a fan-friendly fight, this fight is probably better, right? Better than a fight between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. And I'm talking about a fan-friendly fight. Because when we talk about a fan-friendly fight, we talk about, a toe-to-toe, ain't nobody going back down, big shots being thrown. That's better than Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, as far as a fan-friendly. Now, is it a better fight than Terence Crawford and Errol Spence? No, because that's a fight that's just so intriguing. We all want to know what that fight's going to look like and who's going to win and everything. But as far as fan-friendly, because you got to think, a fight between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford is going to be a chess match for a little bit. It's going to be a chess match. Both of them guys are going to display their boxing skills. They're going to slug. They're going to box. In a fight with Errol Spence and Danny Garcia, oh, they going toe-to-toe. They going toe-to-toe. You know what I'm saying? Take it to the body. Malachi Walker, I appreciate it. Hey, when is your son fighting again, Malachi? And I know y'all been training, getting in that work. I know y'all been getting. I know Junior been training, getting in that work. Let me know, when y'all looking to get back in the ring. Dayton Henry Jr. says this fight has fireworks written all over it. Remember, Garcia versus Zab Judah was entertaining as fuck. Yeah, no doubt. And you got to think. Look at Garcia versus Keith Thurman. Go to the first couple rounds with Garcia versus Keith Thurman before Keith Thurman decided, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stick and move. When the first 2-3 rounds, them boys came out slugging, and we seen Keith Thurman damn near, drop Garcia. Garcia spent all the way around and then came back. So we know Garcia can take a shot. Todd Swindle says Garcia will be good for 5 rounds until that body work take its toll. And you got a point, Todd Swindle. I can't disagree with you because, like I said, Danny Garcia being so big right now is gonna play a factor. If you go look at Danny Garcia, he looked like he weighed about 190 pounds right now. Jupiter B says, I hope Spence don't make it too fan-friendly. He says he likes to beat people at their own game. Don't think the best approach, and Errol should box more. He says, you don't think that's the best approach? Well, it just all depends. If you got a dude like Danny Garcia that's going to be flat-footed, right there in front of you, I think that's a fight that we all know he could outbox Danny Garcia. But we know that, Errol Spence has the temperament of a hungry lion. He likes to get in there. He likes to do that. So, it's interesting to actually see what type of approach, that EJ gonna come with when he step in the ring with Danny Garcia. Is he gonna come to get Danny Garcia up out of there and just, go to toe to toe? Is he gonna come with a game plan like he had against somebody like Kell Brook? But either way, we know that's gonna be a hell of a fight. But let's not sleep on DSG. We heard Keith Thurman say the hardest he's ever been hit was by Danny Garcia. And he said it wasn't even though it was a shoulder. He said the hardest he's ever been hit in his career was a hook by Danny Garcia that caught him on his shoulder. He says that Danny Garcia got that thudding power. Like that shit that'll just, put you to sleep. That thudding power. And we all know that Errol Spence, he got power, but he got that, that break you down power. It's like Stephen T. Pope says, Errol Spence, he can switch it up at any time. He can box you or slug you. So it's going to be real intriguing and interesting to see what type of fight he brings, along with every other, all the other things that's going to lead up to this fight. Everybody going to be wanting to know if Errol Spence is still the same. Has he lost a step since the accident? So it's going to be a great story leading up to the fight. And then, it's kind of, this is a story that's been going on for a long time with Errol Spence and Danny Garcia, because I've been watching the things that Danny Garcia was saying in the past years and years, when he tried to kind of shit on Spence, like, who is he? Like, he ain't nobody. And when he tried to, talk about that Errol Spence ain't done nothing to deserve a fight with him and this and that, So all of that stuff that Danny Garcia was saying in the past that Errol Spence may have not ever heard, it's going to resurface. It's going to come back up, during the build up to this fight. So it's going to get ugly. And then you got to think, of Danny Garcia's dad, Angel Garcia. Angel Garcia, he going to talk that shit. So it's like I said, I'm excited for this fight. I'm excited for this fight because although Errol Spence is going to be the favorite and most of us picking, EJ to win, it's still a hell of a fight for the fans. And Jupiter says DSG got popping a good chin. Got to be careful with him. Yeah, you can't just walk in there and act like he ain't got pop because he fuck around and catch you with one of them left hooks and you could be tasting the mat. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, you could be tasting that canvas. So you gotta, but like I said, EJ, he know what it is with Danny Garcia, and he doesn't take Danny Garcia lightly. He's talked about it. He has a lot of respect for Danny Garcia. He's talked about, that he got a lot of respect for Danny Garcia. So he knows that it ain't gonna be no easy fight, and he's not gonna train like it's gonna be an easy fight. So at the end of the day, he gonna be ready for whatever, But so that's a great fight. That's another great fight that we got coming up. And like I said before, if you wasn't in the building, I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know again. Bob Arum, he said that he is looking to bring boxing back. He got a card that's coming up. I believe it's like June the 6th. And then he said after that, he's looking to have boxing twice a week on Tuesday and Thursday. Every week, Tuesday and Thursday, he's looking to, have a fight card, and he's looking to have these cards. He's looking to secure a venue, right, to where they can have all these fights in one place. Kind of like, the UFC does, where they can have a venue to where they have all these fights in one place without an audience every Tuesday and Thursday. And the reason he said he's picking Tuesday and Thursday, he says, because now that you can't have a live audience, he says Tuesday and Thursdays, the weekdays like that is the best time for people to watch at home for viewership. If you want big viewership numbers, he looked into the business aspect and the viewership aspect. And Tuesday and Thursday is a lot better than having these fights on the weekends when people might not watch it like that on the weekends. Stephen Coney says Angel Garcia is funny. Yeah, and Angel Garcia, he gonna have that whole press conference lit. He gonna have the build up lit. He gonna be in the camera spitting and shit, talking about how Danny Garcia this and that, how Errol Spence Jr. ain't never did shit, and you already know how Angel Garcia gonna come. When Angel Garcia get off that powder, you know what I'm saying? That be that powder. Angel Garcia be that powder. Angel Garcia gonna get off that powder and get to talking loud. Dayton Henry Jr. says if UFC got it done, boxing can get it done, especially on ESPN and Top Rank. Facts. But the thing is, now we know that Top Rank, they coming back. But what about all of these other boxing, organizations? What about all these other boxing entities? What about PBC? When they coming back? What about the Zone? What about we ain't gonna see go? We ain't gonna say Golden Boy because they under the Zone, and they ain't nobody checking for them anyway, unless it's Virgil Ortiz or Ryan Garcia. But they all fight under the Zone. So what about the Zone? So hey, but we all know Top Rank, ESPN and Top Rank. They coming back, and from what it sounds is they coming back with a vengeance, and they gonna keep us with boxing to watch every week. Every week we gonna have some fights to watch. So yeah. Oh yeah, Stephen Coney, that be that powder. Hey, I fuck with Andrew Garcia. He be on that powder though. He be sniffing and he gets to sniffing and talking loud in the camera and spitting and shit and moving around and real antsy and shit. Yeah, but yeah, man. But like I said, all in all, we got a lot to look forward to in boxing. We got a lot to look forward to in boxing. While you on here, go to YouTube, subscribe to my channel, Everything Boxing and Sports, and hit my like button. It don't take nothing to hit the like button and go subscribe to the channel, Everything Boxing and Sports. And once again, everybody needs to tune in. Bob Arum is going to be live on Blue Blood Sports TV on YouTube tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So go check out Bob Arum because I will be tuning in to check out Bob Arum. And I know Blue Blood got a lot to ask him, and I know he's going to get a lot out of Bob Arum. And Bob Arum is going to be on there live tomorrow telling you, what's going on. He gonna keep you updated on these fights that's coming up. Yeah, that's what I said. That guy, I cooked on that. Yeah, I said it already. It's gonna be Tuesday and Thursday. He's looking to have these events every Tuesday and Thursday. Bob Arum is looking to put on a Top Rank ESPN card. So we got a lot to look forward to. Stephen Coney says, remember when he went off on Thurman? Yeah, man, I remember when when Andrew Garcia went off on Thurman. I remember the best build up was when Danny Garcia and Zab Judah. You know what I'm saying? That build up to in that press conference and everything for that fight. But hey, Andrew Garcia, he found out it was real. It was real out there fucking with Zab Judah in his camp. Dayton Henry Jr. says Eddie Hearn got to figure something over at DAZN. Golden Boy got Ryan Garcia fighting in July. Apparently, Canelo is fighting twice this year. Yeah, Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He fighting twice this year. You know what I'm saying? Ace Money, Mr. DAZN off in the building. What's good with it? Salute to you. Yeah, the link. I'll drop a link. I'll let you, you know what I'm saying? Come on here and cook. For a second. That's the link. But yeah, man. It's a lot to look forward to, man. It's a lot to look forward to, and it's exciting, man, because we've been without boxing for a long time. You know what I'm saying? We've been without boxing for a long time. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, man. But that's gonna be interesting because we're not used to watching fights on Tuesday and Thursday. That's gonna be different. And without an audience. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be different. Us watching fights without an audience and on a Tuesday and Thursday. Um, so I think watching the fight without an audience is gonna be like, I don't know, man. It's crazy, man. It's crazy to even think about what a fight's gonna be without an audience. I think it's gonna be interesting because we gonna get to hear the fighters if they talking shit. We gonna get to hear everything the corners is saying, just like the UFC. We seen how it was with the UFC. And it was still like me watching the UFC without the audience. I didn't really, you know what I'm saying? It was still cool to me. Like I was still feeling it. Like, cause a lot of people like it more because you can hear, you can hear everything a lot more. You know what I'm saying? You can hear a lot of you can hear, you can hear the blows, you can hear the corner, so it's gonna be interesting being able to watch what's going on, in boxing without a live audience. And we don't even know when we gonna get a live audience back in boxing. You know what I'm saying? What's gonna happen with that Danny Garcia and EJ fight? Because EJ, he said straight up, he said he don't care if he have an audience or not, just as long as you pay him. You see what I'm saying? Just as long as you pay him, he said he ain't tripping. So a lot of these fighters, they feel like that. They like, shit, just pay me that bag. But Bob Arum is saying, without the audience, if it's in the US, the bag ain't there. So we got a conflict. And like Bob Arum said, like I said before, Terence Crawford is talking this shit about that. He not taking no pay cut. He not taking no less money. And Bob Arum is like, hey, all right, cool. Sit your ass on the sideline and get paid nothing then. You know what I'm saying? It don't bother me none. So something's gonna have to shake. Something's gonna have to shake. Dave Henry Jr. says 2.5 months without boxing, way too long. For real. Hey, my daughters noticed it. My girls is like, Daddy, how come you're not watching boxing no more? And I told them, they was like, oh, yeah, they noticed. My little twins, my little 5-year-olds noticed. Daddy, why you ain't watching boxing no more? Because they used to boxing being on that TV. Hey, y'all better go somewhere else. Hey, y'all better go in one of these other rooms and watch the TV because you ain't changing this channel. They know the routine. They know the routine over here. Yep. And on Saturday when boxing going down, ain't nothing else going down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we could go out to eat, but it's gonna have to be on Sunday. Yeah, we could go. Yeah, we could go to Peter Piper or the water park or wherever y'all want to go. But it ain't gonna be on this Saturday while there's boxing going on. Jupiter B says, did Bud even have an opponent lined up? Yeah, I cooked on that earlier in the show. Bob Arum is saying that Bud's next opponent is most likely to be Manny Pacquiao, because he said Bud and Manny Pacquiao want that fight. Or he says if Manny Pacquiao don't, if that don't happen, he says it's gonna be Shawn Porter, and it's gonna be Shawn Porter and Bud. But if you ask me, do I believe it? No, I don't. You know what I'm saying? I believe it when I see it. Because, like I said before, once again, Bob Arum is saying that the money is not going to be the same. These guys are either going to have to take a pay cut, or they're either going to have to, secure a venue, somewhere out of the country to where they can have a live game and can have a crowd. Other than that, they're not going to be able to make the money that they was making before, And he said they're going to have to understand that. They're going to have to check it or respect it. Straight up. They're going to have to check it or respect it. They're going to have to understand it or get on and sit on the sideline and just, be sitting on the sideline and not get paid none. At the end of the day, if it come down to, do you want to fight this dude and take less, or do you want to sit on the sideline looking like boo-boo the fool and you ain't making shit at all? What you gonna pick? Because like Floyd Mayweather was saying, Floyd Mayweather, I don't fuck with Floyd outside of the ring. Inside of the ring, I fuck with Floyd. Outside of the ring, I don't fuck with Floyd. But Floyd said some real shit. He said, I feel sorry for all of these fighters that are not under Al Heyman. He says, because Al Heyman, he makes sure that you make smart investments outside of boxing. He makes sure that if something happens like this in boxing, you still good. You can still take care of yourself because you still got residual income coming in. He says, for these other guys that's with these other promoters that's living fight to fight, or that's depending solely on boxing for a paycheck, he said he feels sorry for them. But them guys over there with with Al Heyman, they still living good. And we can see that. Like I said, Danny Garcia running around here looking like he 190 pounds. But he jumping in pools. He looked like he living his best life. He ain't worried about nothing. He ain't worried about nothing because he's made smart investments under the guidance of Al Heyman. Just like all of these fighters always praising Al Heyman. Just like Errol Spence said, he said before he even, really got his feet wet or signed with Al Heyman, he said Al Heyman wasn't talking to him about, who you gonna fight next, or this is what we gonna do in boxing. He said Al Heyman was talking to him about investments. He said before he even got a paycheck, Al Heyman was off of his ear, was like, this is what you need to do. And it didn't have nothing to do with boxing. And he says at that point in time, he's looking at him like, man, I ain't trying to hear all that shit. I'm just trying to get a bag real quick. Like, I'm broke. You know what I'm saying? And he said that Bob Arum was actually trying to sign him too. But Bob Arum was trying to give him a big bag up front. But what about, after you go through that big bag? You know what I'm saying? So these guys with Al Heyman, I've even seen Ugas, right? I seen Ugas. He looked like he's cool. He living good. And Ugas ain't even, a big name like some of these other guys. But that just lets you know that if you under Al Heyman, you ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? You're not tripping. You're not struggling. Look at Paul the Punisher Williams. His career got cut short and ended, when he was coming into the peak of his career, right? But Paul Williams tell you all the time, Paul Williams rich as a bitch. He richer than shit. He ain't worried about nothing. He didn't ever have to box another day of his life because Al Heyman set him up and made sure that he was good, and none of that shit involved boxing. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. But as far as these other guys, you ain't gonna be able to play with Bob Arum too long. All that shit you talking like, I'm not gonna fight if I gotta get paid less money. You gonna hop your ass in that ring and you gonna take less money If grandfather Bob tell you that you gonna get in that ring and take less money, or you just gonna sit on the sideline and you're not gonna take no more money at all. You're not gonna take no money at all. So what's it gonna be? End of the day, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, what's it gonna be? Because I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you're a fighter. You're a fighter, and you know what's going on with this pandemic. You know what's going on. So you're gonna have to come to some type of compromise. But don't Bob ain't gonna beg you to get in that ring, because Bob is 80-something years old. Bob is good whether you step in that ring or not. He's straight. He's straight. He probably still got bread from the 60s. You know what I'm saying? Bob Arum's still spending bread from the 60s. He good. He ain't worried about it. But yeah, so I mean that's what it is. But we got a lot to look forward to coming up real soon. And how y'all feel about that? Do y'all think that Bob Arum is really gonna be able to get this shit done to where he gonna have a fight card on every Tuesday and Thursday all the way through August? How y'all feel about that? Dave Henry Jr. said, Bud under contract with Bob, he fight. With Top Rank, he fight. Yeah, I mean, let's start acting like, you know, Bud is making his own decisions. You feel what I'm saying? Like, let's stop acting like Bud is making all his own decisions. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he under Bob Arum. If Bob Arum say, you got to fight, you're going to have to fight. Or you're going to have to see that man in court. Or you could, if he cool with you just sitting on the sideline and not taking no fight, you ain't getting paid. So, I mean, who you hurting? At the end of the day, all of this, oh, I ain't doing this, this, and that. Ain't nobody really worried about it because, I mean, of course, now as a fan, I would love to see Terence Crawford in the ring. But I don't want to see him in the ring if it ain't against one of these opponents. Pacquiao, Shawn Porter, Kell Brook, or Ugas. If it ain't against one of them four opponents in his next fight, because we all know he ain't fighting Errol Spence next. So, I mean, let's not even get into that. But if it ain't one of them four opponents, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Straight up. I don't want to see him fight no more Kavalaskis and fucking and Usyk stands and whatever them do. I don't want to see him fight no more, you know, of them type of opponents. Straight up. I don't want to see him fight nobody on Top Rank. Because unless we got a dude like Josh Taylor moving up to fight him or something, I don't want to see it. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's sick of that shit. And I'm a Terence Crawford fan, right? I'm a Terence Crawford fan, right? But then we got Terence Crawford fans that just see now. Even if you're a senile Terence Crawford fan, in the deep down, you know you don't want to see Terence Crawford fight another one of them type of opponents. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to bury Jeff Horn up out of the grave and bring the Jeff Horn back. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. I don't want you to bring no guy from Ukraine that we ain't never heard of and say like, well, he was the next in line for Terence Crawford's title. I don't want to see none of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Dave Henry Jr. says Bud needs to fight Porter, send that offer. Yeah, well, like I said, Bob Arum, he's saying that that's the next fight. It's either Pacquiao finna fight Bud, or it's gonna be Shawn Porter and Bud. So we'll see. We will see. Like I said, we'll see. You know what I'm saying? I'm sick of all of that capping. We gonna see. All of the fake news and all of that shit, we gonna see if they really make it happen. But we know at the end of the day that if it do happen, and if you fucking around with Mr. Bob. You know what I'm saying? I like Bob though. You know what I'm saying? But if you fucking around with Bob, you're gonna have to take less money. I like Bob, and personally, y'all can say what you want to about Bob Arum, but he actually a real cool, down to earth guy. I done met Bob on several occasions. I done had talks with Bob Arum on several occasions. You know, he cool. Like Bob Arum, he'll talk to you. Bob Arum is a cool dude, and he gonna give it to you raw. He gonna give it to you raw. You know, but I mean, all of that silly shit that he was saying about Al Heyman, he don't know if he exists. That's just Bob Arum, you know, playing the game and talking shit. But Bob Arum, you know, when you really sit down and talk with him, he really gonna give it to you raw. And but he don't he let it be known that he not gonna pay you a certain amount of money. He lets it be known like the money ain't there. KP from KC5, he says Bud is Mr. TBD, to be decided. Hey, that's real, man. That's what we really all waiting for. Because when was the last time Bud fought? Gino, what's good with it, fam? When was the last time Bud fought? What was it, like December or something? Bud ain't fought in a minute. I think. When was the last time Bud fought? Somebody put in the comments, when did Bud fight Eagles? What month was that? What month was that when Bud fought Eagles? Matter of fact, I'll pull it up right now. Let me see. He fought last in December. Yeah, like I said, it was in December. So Bud ain't fought since December, right? By the time Bud fight, it's gonna be, you know, a year or almost a year. And the whole time, ever since he last fought, we've been wondering who he was gonna fight next. We hearing everything from Kell Brook to Manny Pacquiao to Shawn Porter, and then absolutely not Shawn Porter, and then, you know, Ugas, and then, you know what I'm saying? So we don't know. We don't know. And we've even heard that one of these dudes, like Josh Taylor, could move up and fight, but we know that's not gonna happen. But no, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Who really knows? I'm just ready to see Bud get back in the ring, but it gotta be against somebody that, you know, deserve to be in the ring with him. Period. It gotta be a name. One of them 4 names that I named, it gotta be one of them 4, right? And yeah, so we didn't cook, man. I've been on here for over 2 hours and a half. Sporting Advantage says, honestly, what's bigger test, Porter or Kell Brook? That's a good question, and I'm gonna answer that before I get up out of here. But before I do that, everybody, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, go subscribe on YouTube, Everything Boxing and Sports, and hit the like button, because it don't take no time to hit that like button. Straight up. All right, now, straight up. Okay, now let me answer that question, because that's a good question. He want to know what's the bigger test for Bud Crawford? Is it Porter or is it Kell Brook? Now, we really don't know right now, because like I said before, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people saying that Kell Brook is washed up, right? Everybody saying that Kell Brook ain't the same Kell Brook, but at the end of the day, we can't really say that, because that's all speculation, because we still haven't seen Kell Brook lose to anybody but Errol Spence. And before that, good nighty, good lucky, when he moved up 2 weight classes. Other than that, everybody else that Kell Brook been in the ring with, he beat after that. You know what I'm saying? He won all his fights after that. Whether he looked impressive or not, you know, has a lot to do with ring rust and him not being in there training like he's supposed to, blowing up in weight like a lot of these other fighters do. So having fat camps, having to cut weight in fat camp, and then going into these fights. But he's still getting KOs, and he's still getting these guys up out of there. they're not dudes that we know. They not, top name opponents, but he's still getting them up out of there. So we can't say that he's all the way washed up. As far as Shawn Porter, we seen Shawn Porter, put on a brilliant performance against Errol Spence, right? But people were saying that Shawn Porter wasn't the same, and Shawn Porter was beginning to become washed up when he fought Ugas, right? There was some speculation around Shawn Porter. Everybody was saying that Errol Spence was going to go in there and just wash Shawn Porter like he wasn't shit because Shawn Porter was washed up. And, from the performance he put on when he fought Ugas, a fight that I thought that Ugas won, right? So we don't know. At the end of the day, if we take both of these fighters and we say neither one of them is washed up, both of these fighters go into a Terence Bud Crawford fight at their peak, right? They train, they in tip-top condition, they sharp, and they both go in there at their peak. Kell Brook is a harder test. Kell Brook. Because to me, Kell Brook at his best is a better fighter than Shawn Porter. Period. So if Terence Crawford end up fighting Kell Brook instead of a Shawn Porter, I'm not going to be mad because we don't know how good Kell Brook still is. You know what I'm saying? Us saying that he washed up and he not the same, that's just an assumption because we ain't really seen him in the ring with somebody that could really bring him heat like that ever since he been in there with Errol Spence. And he didn't won all his fights since then. So until he get beat by one of these other dudes and quit or get knocked out or stopped or whatever, then we can say, okay, he ain't the same, he washed up. But until then, we can't really say that. And don't expect Kell Brook to get in there against Terence Crawford and lay down. Right? Because what if he get in there and he is the same Kell Brook that he was when he fought Errol Spence? And then we hear rumors that, I don't know how true it is, but we hear certain reports come out saying that Terence Crawford is willing to go to 154 and fight Kell Brook. That I highly doubt, but I mean, it's out there. It's rumors out there saying that he's willing to go to 154 and fight Kell Brook. Now, if he go to 154 and fight Kell Brook, he gonna have some problems because we all know that one of Kell Brook's problems is making that weight at 147. It's hard for Kell Brook to make 147 pounds. So that's gonna be a big factor. I'm gonna tell you like this: if Terence Crawford is willing to go up to 154 to fight Kell Brook, Bob gonna have to pay Crawford more. You know what I'm saying? He gonna have to pay Crawford more than what he would if he would fight at 147. He gonna have to pay Crawford more to fight at 154. So you know what I'm saying? That money gonna have to come out of it's gonna have to come out of Bob Arum's pockets himself, or it's gonna have to come out of Kell Brook's purse if he want that fight at 154. Stephen Coney says, what about Crawford fighting Jermell? Nah. I hear a lot of people saying that Crawford will beat Jermell at one. No, stay away from there. For real. No, he not beating Jermell Charlo at 154. And it's crazy because we still ain't even let's just be honest here. Let's be honest. We still ain't seen Crawford fight nobody at 147. So how you gonna tell me this man gonna jump up and fight the best at 154? How he gonna fight the best at 154 and he ain't fought nobody at 147 yet? And the best opponent that he even fought at 140 was what? Was it? Let me see. The best opponent that Terence Crawford fought at 140 was Was Felix Diaz? Would you say Felix Diaz? And Felix Diaz is his best opponent that he even fought at 140 pounds, right? Felix Diaz, a guy, the same Felix Diaz that lost his next fight after Terence Crawford beat him, and had already prior lost to Lamar Peterson. And you want to tell me that this same man is finna jump up to 154, and you gonna tell me that he's the favorite to beat Jermell Charlo? Man, y'all need to go somewhere with that bullshit. Please. Miss me with that bullshit for real. But yeah, man. Like straight up and down, I would love to see Terence Crawford against any of them four dudes that I named. Right? I'm not gonna have a problem with seeing Terence Crawford in the ring with Pacquiao, Shawn Porter, Ugas, or Kell Brook, because any of those names are better opponents than any of the opponents that he ever been in the ring with up to date. That's in my opinion. Y'all can feel how y'all want to feel. That it's an upgrade to me. Any of those opponents is an upgrade to me than any of the fighters that he's been in the ring with. You know, whether it pans out like that in the ring, we don't know. That's yet to be seen. But on paper, to me, any of those opponents are better. But it's a lot of conflict because, right? Let me tell y'all this before I wrap it up, because I'm getting ready to wrap it up. So I've been on here long enough, but I'm gonna let y'all know it's a lot of conflict from what Bob Arum says and what Terence Crawford says. And let me let y'all know one of the biggest conflicts is with the fight between Kell Brook and Terence Crawford. When I heard Terence Crawford speak about it, Terence Crawford says that he not going overseas to fight Kell Brook. He says that he's the A side, so Kell Brook needs to go where he's at for the fight, right? But Bob Arum is saying that they would love to go overseas and fight Kell Brook. You know, this is right around the time before all of this pandemic, you know, happened. Everything with the COVID-19 happened. But it was conflicts because you hear one thing from Bud and then you hear another thing from Bob Arum. But at the end of the day, who running the show? Bob Arum is running the show. Bob Arum is running the show. Straight up. Jupiter B says, I love Bud. I need him to stay away from Jermell Charlo. He is not a step-up fight. I see Lubin coming with that. Man, Lubin, well, Jermell Charlo ain't I don't ever see Jermell Charlo giving Lubin a rematch at all. You know what I'm saying? I don't, but Lubin, man, don't sleep on Lubin. Hey, Lubin to me is still one of the best at 154 pounds. And remember I said this, Erickson Lubin is going to be a fucking problem at 154. And don't be surprised if Erickson Lubin moves his way into a position to where Jermell Charlo don't have no choice but to give him a rematch. You know what I'm saying? If Lubin get a belt and it's a unified bout. Excuse me. Because Lubin, okay, Jupiter B says he mean that Bud Crawford is getting Lubin. Hey, that shit right there, I could see that happening. I could see Charlo hitting him with one of them motherfucking nasty hooks and getting Crawford up out of there. Because let's not act like Crawford got the strongest chin that we've ever seen in boxing. Because he don't. We've seen him hurt on several occasions. And so for anybody to act like that, Jermell Charlo ain't capable of hurting Crawford real bad. For real, you lost your mind. Sporting Advantage says Charlo versus Danny Jacobs. I still want that. You mean that's Jamal Charlo? That's Jamal Charlo versus Danny Jacobs. That's a hell of a fight. KP from KC says Lubin versus Errol Spence is a hell of a fight later on. Yeah, man. it's a whole lot of fights because these guys, they still in their very early 30s. So, um, we guys like Errol Spence and Danny Garcia, they moving up to 154. That's for sure. That's a fact. They gonna move up. Um, um, yeah, Jamal Charlo and Danny Jacobs, that's a fight that it gotta happen. Like we gotta see that fight. You know what I'm saying? That's a fight. Um, Canelo, you know what I'm saying? Canelo, he acted like he don't want no smoke with Benavidez or Caleb Plant. Canelo acting like he don't want no smoke with Benavidez or Caleb Plant. Those are two fighters that I would love to see Canelo in the ring with. I don't, me personally, I'm just speaking for myself. I don't want to see Canelo in the ring with no Billy Ho Saunders because Billy Ho, right? He don't look good when he offered them roids. Let's just keep it 100. Billy Ho Sanders don't look like shit when he offered them roids. Now he looked excellent when he get in the ring ripped up, and we know he on some shit. But when he come in there and we know that he didn't got tested and he not on some shit, his body don't look the same, and his boxing ability, you know what I'm saying, in the ring don't look the same. And as far as Gennady Golovkin, I personally don't want to see that shit again. Because every time we see Triple G in the ring, as of these past, 3, 4 fights, he looks less and less impressive every time we see him in the ring, right? We seen the last fight with him and Canelo, and I think that Canelo won that fight and beat Triple G at his own game, and I think he did it clearly. So to me, I don't want to see that. It's other dudes that Canelo need to be fighting. It's other fighters that he need to be fighting. We got Jamal Charlo, we got Caleb Plant, we got Benavidez, we got, come on. It's other dudes out there that you need to be fighting. We got, you know what I'm saying? We got Dudu Andrade. What I think about Sporting Advantage asked me what I think about Dudu Andrade. Man, so Andrade, I think that Andrade is a hell of a fighter. To be honest, I think he a very good fighter. Although he still ain't fought nobody. And he make me sick. I don't like him personally, but I can't knock his skills in the ring. You know what I'm saying? He's just annoying as fuck to me. You know what I'm saying? He just hella annoying to me. So but that's another fighter I would like to see in the ring with Canelo. You know what I'm saying? That's another fighter I'd like to see in the ring with Canelo's Dudu Andrade. You know what I'm saying? Dudu Andrade. Hey, guys, it's your boy again. Hey, it's your boy again, guys. Like, nigga, shut your goofy ass up, nigga. Like, that nigga be making me sick every time I see him on the interview. It's your boy again. Like, nigga, he's just goofy as hell. But he could fight though. You know what I'm saying? He could fight, but he just still ain't fought nobody. You know what I'm saying? He needs to fight somebody. Stephen T. Coney says, what about Charlo versus Andrade? That's a good fight. That's a hell of a fight. It's a lot of fights that need to be made. You know what I'm saying? These dudes need to come up off their square and fight each other. Or these promoters need to stop bullshit and let them fight. But now it's a whole lot of shit that's gonna change in boxing because now these promoters, they got the excuse. All of them can roll with the excuse now. Like, hey, y'all gonna fight or y'all can sit on the sideline because the money ain't there. And trust me, when shit get hectic, these fighters, they gonna change up their stance, and we gonna start seeing a lot of these big fights happen that we weren't seeing before because these dudes knew that they can sit back and get paid a whole lot of money by fighting lesser opposition. All that shit ain't gonna go down though. You know what I'm saying? Shit gonna get real and shit about to change. You said still undefeated and still has a strap. Andrade, yeah, I mean, he should be undefeated. If you're talking about Andrade, he should be undefeated because he ain't fought nobody. Jupiter B says, I think Andrade will give Canelo the most trouble because of his style. He's like a bigger Lara. Canelo was one belt away from undisputed and avoided Andrade for a reason. Oh yeah, I've been seeing that, Jupiter B. Even though, like I said, even though he get on my nerves every time he get in front of a camera, because he just annoying and goofy as a motherfucker to me. You know, it's your boy again. It's your boy again, guys. Every time he get in front of camera, you know, I don't take nothing away from him inside the ring and what he's capable of doing. If you look at the style of the fight, the style that Doodle Andrade brings, right? If you look at his style shows you that, you know, he's probably the hardest test for Canelo because he got respectable power. He's very hard to hit. He can box very well, and you know, he got excellent footwork. You know, so he can do all of the things in the ring that gives Canelo problems. Now, can he beat Canelo? I don't know. I wouldn't really go as far as I wouldn't go to say that he can beat Canelo because this is the thing, right? You can't crown nobody before they've done anything in the sport to be crowned. You dig what I'm saying? You can't take away a man's crown just off of speculation. And what I mean by that, if you go back and you look at all of the fighters that Canelo has fought, right? You go back and you look at Canelo's resume. He's proven, right? He's proven against the best fighters in the sport of boxing. No matter what you say about Canelo, he is proven. He's fought the best there is, right? And he's gotten a lot better. We all seen Canelo, you know, he's gotten a lot better. And he's improved a whole lot, right? On the other hand, Doodle Andrade, you know, we seen him look good against guys that we ain't never heard of before, that's never done anything in the sport, right? So he's looked good against those oppositional opponents, but we've never seen him in the ring with nobody that's worth talking about, right? Except for, I mean, shit, we ain't never seen him in the ring. Probably the best opponent that we maybe have seen him in the ring with was Selesky, the guy that fought Daniel Jacobs. They gave Daniel Jacobs a good fight, but Daniel Jacobs beat him. You said check my mic. Can you hear me? But you know Selesky, right? Daniel Jacobs beat Selesky already, but he's a guy that's coming up from 154 pounds, right? I think Andrade beat him more convincingly than Daniel Jacobs did. So you got to give him credit for that performance that he put on against that guy, right? But other than that, I mean, who else has he fought besides Von Esparros, right? Years ago. So you can't really say, you know, we got to see how he does get it in the ring with another A-level opponent. You said my sound changed up? Hold on, y'all. Can y'all hear me now? Okay. Yeah, so I mean, we just got to look into those factors because this is the thing, right? When everybody like to put these guys in the ring with other fighters that's proven, when you do that, right? When you do that, like for example, putting in Teofimo Lopez versus Lomachenko, right? I know a lot of people picking Teofimo Lopez, but who has Teofimo Lopez fought to tell you and show you that he can get in the ring and beat somebody with the skill level of Vasil Lomachenko? He ain't fought nobody, right? So when you making these fights and you picking these guys that's untested, that really haven't shown you nothing in the ring with another A-level opponent, right? When you doing that, stop for a minute and ask yourself, if you had to put a lot of money on the line, would you put your money on that fighter? So would you put your money on a fighter like Andrade, right, against a Canelo? Basically going in there blind, right? Because you're going in there putting your money up blind because you have no idea how this man is going to perform, under the lights in that magnitude of fight. You see? So it's a lot different. Yeah, would they melt under the big lights? And how are they going to perform against someone with the skill level of Canelo, the skill level of Lomachenko? It's a lot different. You know what I'm saying? Fight dudes in the top, you know what I'm saying? Fighting the dude that's ranked 15 is a whole lot different than fighting the dude that's ranked number 1 or 2 pound for pound. It's a whole different ball game. You feel what I'm saying? So you got to really take all of that into accountability. You got to look at all of those factors. That's why I say you cannot uncrown a man and give it to somebody else without the work being put in. You got to prove to me that you're able to perform on that level. Just the same thing I'm screaming with Bud Crawford. Before you can tell me that he's number 1 pound for pound and he's the best in the division and all that, nigga, you got to fight somebody. You got to prove to me that you are. And once you go and you fight one of those guys that's on an A level or an A+ level, and you perform and you show me, then I could, you know what I'm saying, then we could talk. But other than that, you got to prove that shit to me. Yeah, I Jupiter to be. I fuck with rematches too, cause some fighters, it's some rematches that just need to happen, and some things happen in fights, that anybody can get a lucky punch, and it's just different things that happen in fights, and then you got these dudes that run off, and they'll never give you a rematch. And I ain't gonna name no names, but one rematch that I've always wanted to see was I've always wanted to see Lubin and Jermell Charlo again. Cause it's like, man, I wanted to see that fight. And yeah, I mean you gotta give all the credit in the world, right, to Jermell Charlo for what he did. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I just think that Lubin was capable of giving us so much more. And that fight was gonna be a hell of a fight, but he just got caught. But now you caught him. Now you can just say like, oh no, I ain't giving him no rematch. Hey, but this is how boxing is. Yeah, but man, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I've been on here cooking for 3 hours, man. I was supposed to be on here an hour, but you know how I get when we get to talking boxing. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. And like I said, once again, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Everything Boxing and Sports. Hit that like button, and you already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again. I don't watch reality TV. I watch boxing. And yeah, check me out next time. I appreciate everybody for tuning in.